Mumi will take over with a sports flash. Then I come your way with business brief, and this morning I'm going to share something very, very, very salient. You don't want to miss that. Then Transport Today comes your way, where we get to tell you all the traffic situation in town and give you all the travel tips, all the flight schedules as well. Then it will be time for market trends. This morning we'll be going into something very deep. You want to stick and stay. Then of course we'll round up with a roundtable discussion on how you can turn your passion into profit. It's a fascinating topic you will definitely want to tune in for. Well, stay with me. It's going to be a fantastic morning here on Zed 101.9 FM, your trusted destination for business, lifestyle, and leisure. Let's get started.
Business Radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio. It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Well, thank you one more time for staying with us. It's time for the news review segment. And this morning I have joining me in studio Azuri Imuru Abdullahi, our political strategist from the University of Ghana, and he's going to help me break down the headlines. And also Abel and Soliwin Modiok will be joining me over the phone lines for us to break down all the headlines. And let me start from my joyonline.com, and the top story there says a Blackwas oral team used drones to spy on my properties, and that's coming from Afenyo Making, the minority leader. Also, clerks handling of vetting process triggered the chaos, Afenyo Making claims. And also, minority leader, I'm not surprised the public is unhappy with our actions. Freemason isn't occultism. It's rooted in Christianity, Afenyo Making defense. And I will make mistakes, but I will succeed. Afenyo Making, I think all the stories are on Afenyo Making. Anyway, Afenyo Making reflects on his role as minority leader. Let me move away from him. I'm appalled by Afenyo Making's behavior towards clerk. That's coming from Sam George. And then I commend Ayariga for his industry in leading real parliamentary diplomacy, minority leader. And also Trump imposes tariffs, but Canada and Mexico hits back. And enjoy FM. Okay, no. Let's move away from that. Okay, on my on City Newsroom, it says the government to prevent future food shortages under free SHS. Kwachi Ofosu assures Accra Academy machete attack. Conscience and character lost in our schools. That is coming from Ghana National Association of Teachers. Kotoko stabbed to death at Inswatre March. Mahama committed to National Education Forum outcomes. Kwachi Ofosu. Mahama set up 8-member team to plan National Education Forum. And Africa Prosperity Dialogue 2025 ACTA represents a game-changing opportunity for African businesses, and that's coming from President Mahama. Students in viral machete bullying video handed over to police, says Accra Academy. And suspended MPs will ensure bargaining follows standing orders, and that is from Opong in Kruma. And then I stand with you in this moment of unfortunate adversity. That is coming from Sam George to Dafia Makpo. And then I think that will be all. Okay, Trump stretches trade law boundaries with Canada and Canada, Mexico, and China tariffs. And then Thames wins Grammy celebrates team and mother in emotional speech. All right. So, Azuri, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, so I also have the daily graphic. Let me just quickly look at it.
Okay,
And
great.
then the headlines on the daily graphic. At African Prosperity Dialogue, let's unlock Africa's potential. Mahama urged continent leaders. And then on the same front page, Asante Hills CAF, that's Confano to Teaching Hospital,
Right.
transformation project. And then the big one, Dr. Esiama assumes office today as new BOG governor. And then Republic Bank poised to break new grounds. That's according to the MD. And then another interesting one, passport regime needs reform. This is Ablakwa adverting. Yes. So
Right. Now let's get into the stories. Of course, let's start with education this morning. I don't know whether you saw the video of the students in the bearing some machetes and all of that and bullying another student. And I think it talks about our character in our education system and in our schools these days. What are your thoughts?
So I would like, anyway, good morning to you and good morning to our listeners. And today's Monday, I'm glad to be here. And it's very interesting. So I'm going to look at it in the other angles that you have actually highlighted, talking about the food shortages, talking about the 8-member committee that are going to review the educational sector and all of those. So we are going to tie it in all this particular regime.
Sure.
But it's very, very appalling, very, very unfortunate. It goes down to boil down to the issue of indiscipline and the birthright of our kids these days. I don't know where they are getting that sense of entitlement from, that you can just take up arms or maybe just take up some things and then start bullying other your colleagues. I mean, we've all been to boarding school, we've all been to secondary school. We've seen how we were treated, you understand. But at the end of the day, there were some actions that were taken. But these days, I don't know where the kids are getting that kind of sense of entitlement. And some have actually attributed it to that kind of free fall of education, you understand. But I always come back to say that, look, what is happening is a reflection of our society. Right from from birth, from your house, how were you treated? Parenting is also a key issue as to whether that particular child was brought up in a very good home. Look, these days, there are a lot of parents who are very busy and they don't have time for their kids. Look, I just left house, let's say like 5 a.m. and my kids are preparing to go to school. I've not seen them. You understand? So this is the reality of our life. So you don't know what is happening. So that kind of bonding is, and look, the kids spend more time in school than in the home with the parents. And these are some of the challenges. And if the children go to school and then they cannot maintain that discipline. And I also bring in the issue of teachers as to what is the role of the teachers in the school. Those days in our school, if you misbehave, a teacher can lash you and then discipline you, and then you understand. It's a problem.
We don't.
And sometimes when you even go home to report, they will even beat you in addition.
Exactly. No, you can't even go home and go and tell your parents.
So I don't know what is the problem. But the teachers are helpless. They can't do anything. And sometimes the students have the guts to even attack their teachers.
That's true.
So
I've seen videos.
Honestly, the GES, I mean, we have a new Minister of Education who is very, very disciplined, who is very decent. And I think that we should imbibe in them that kind of sense of discipline, so that we know that at the end of the day, we are bringing up leaders. And as I said, it's a reflection of our society. If these kids are watching, and then our so-called honorable are also behaving in that kind of manner, you see, there is a justification. When the video came out, I was watching with my 9-year-old girl. She asked me, "Daddy, are they fighting?" I mean, that is the thinking.
Exactly.
So I have to find a way of trying to convince her.
That is not.
So if these kids are in school and they see that our leaders on public TV are doing this, destroying public property, we don't have the guts to also call them to order. And I mean, it's a reflection of our society, and we must discipline ourselves as parents, as teachers, as leaders, as everybody. For me, that is how I want to.
Right. So I mean, what you say is exactly the point. But you see, is it that it has already been there in the past and it wasn't captured on video? And now with the wake of technology, we are beginning to see these things going on in school. Because in the past, we've heard of people that were, I mean, very, very violent in school. And they were treated very badly. Some people were treated very badly in school. Is it that, and now that there's camera, we are beginning to see some of these things?
Yes. So during our time, I mean, there were no cameras to capture. And look, whether you like it or not, there is bullying in secondary school, and we all went through it. But look, I remember an instance where in secondary school, they wake us up around 4 a.m. And in the north, the Hamatan and all those things. And we had to remove our dress and then come out, and then I don't know what they were doing. You understand? But at the end of the day, when we reported, the senior housemaster was there. He took an action. Those students were demonized and all those. So it boils down to leadership. And look, there were instances where sometimes, I mean, youthful exuberance and all those things. Sometimes you just want to do things to show that you are also in a boarding school. You also want to be part of that kind of gang that is doing this. And so that at the end of the day, you go out and say, okay, I've also been here some. You understand? But look, there were discipline. Sometimes when you are in the dining hall and then you hear that, okay, the dining hall master is coming around, there is absolute silence and quiet in the dining hall. You understand? Because it's all boiled down to the kind of leadership. That's why I said the teachers have a very big role to play in this. Look, those days, you see your teacher and then you panic because of the way he will treat you.
That's true.
But at the end of the day, when he comes to the class, he teaches you very well and then he advises you. But these days, look, and I don't know, the teachers, honestly, these days are helpless. It's not about whether these days we have technology, we have video, and then we are capturing it. Yeah, those things are worth it. But what are the measures that were taken those days to able to keep that discipline? And what is happening now, whether we are getting it right or not?
And that's exactly the point that Thomas Musa, who is the the General Secretary for the Ghana National Association of Teachers, and that's the same concern he raised. It raises let me read that article. And he says that Thomas Musa, the General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, has expressed deep concern over the erosion of moral values and discipline in Ghanaian schools. His comments come in the wake of a disturbing viral video showing a student from Accra Academy Senior High School using a cutlass to flog two of his peers. The incident has sparked widespread outrage and it reignited debates about the state of discipline and character development in the country's educational institutions. Speaking on Channel 1 newsroom on Sunday, Musa lamented the loss of conscience and character in schools, warning that the trend could have dire consequences for the nation if not urgently addressed. As a nation, this is what he says, as a nation, character and conscience, we have lost it. We are now training people with knowledge, but for their character and conscience, we have lost it. If care is not taken, we'll all be in trouble. And he attributed the decline in discipline to the weakening authority within schools, particularly the diminished role of head teachers and teachers in maintaining order. He recalled a time when head teachers were empowered to enforce discipline and parents actively collaborated with schools to correct their children's behavior. Now today, he says that today teachers have been disabled. There are instances where when things happen at the school, the children will go and inform their parents and they will come to the school and beat up the teacher. So when things happen, the teachers cannot talk because when they do, either the students or their parents will come after them.
That is the reality of our life these days.
Let me bring Abel into the conversation. Abel, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Ralph.
How are you doing this morning?
It's another week. We can't complain much. So, and good morning to our listeners.
Right.
I'm glad to be able to join you.
We're very glad that you joined us too. Now, this morning we just wanted to start. We just started a conversation on education, and we're talking about. I don't know whether you came across the video from Accra Academy where one student was beating two other people with a machete.
Sincerely, I've not cited the video, but I've followed the conversation.
Okay.
And this morning, I was listening to Mr. Hazuri speak on the issue. I can't but to agree with him on everything he has said. There's really a breakdown of discipline in our senior high schools, of course. And then the issue of teaching moral values too is also there.
Right.
It is a very big issue, and I think it's a holistic issue that must be looked at.
Yeah.
What are we teaching our children in senior high schools? Not even in senior high schools, right from the basic level. What values do we impact into the children?
Yeah.
Of course, bullying will always exist. Some few people will have those tendencies, but if your whole education is structured in a manner that can be predicted, then we are able to predict the level of bullying, and then there can be measures put in place to address those issues, those few issues that will come out.
Right.
I don't also believe that teachers necessarily have to become law, because when we talk about law enforcement or teachers having the power to discipline, in Ghana, our understanding is killing. I don't think so. I think that, like we are all saying, if moral values are impacted into students right from the beginning, and there's a structure that everybody knows that this is a structure that our education must go through, and we all come on board and we are all assisting in that direction. We don't really need the teachers' discipline in terms of caning. So it is all. We must look. I think what happened with us was that some people went to Europe and then the US, and then they had this narrow understanding of what education should be, and they came and then they just stamped the whole thing on Ghana. They didn't look at how we could work with our own realities and our own practicalities, and that is what has led us here. You know, we must do broad consultations around Asia. Maybe we can look at Japan, for example. What has made Japan education one of the best? They don't. Their education is not focused on results and tests. No, it's about values. It's about morals, and then the knowledge acquisition process. What is the blueprint for Ghana's education? If you ask anybody on the street, if you ask all of us discussing this issue today, what is the blueprint for our education in general?
Right.
Nothing. Maybe we'll be hearing free FQ. What are those things? Is education being free in itself enough? You know. So, like Azure said, this has been happening since time immemorial. Of course, there have been even worse reports when it comes to bullying than this, you know. And I agree that it is technology that is exposing some of these things to us now. You know, I remember the former minister for digital communications and digitalization. She said that thank God for the absence of technology or the absence of mobile phones during their time. Because we would have seen a lot of things, not only in terms of bullying, in terms of other social vices that children learn from in schools.
Right.
It's a big issue, and we must address this holistically. Thank God there's a National Education Forum coming up. These issues must all be looked at, and then we can see how together as a country and a society we can address all these issues.
Right, Abel. Let's also talk about. I mean, you make very good points. We can't even rehash them enough. But let's talk about the. I mean, still on education. President Mahama has inaugurated an eight-member team that are supposed to facilitate the plan towards the National Education Forum. Let me take your thoughts on that, Abel.
Yes. I think that was one of his major campaign promises to have a national stakeholder forum. So I think basically the role, if you look at the terms, the term of reference that has been given to the committee is to plan, discuss, and decide on the venue, the time, the team for the forum, the sub teams, and the resource persons that should be invited, all those people who are needed to come together to discuss this and then put a policy document together that will be presented to government. So it's a promise. It's a social contract with the people of Ghana. he's fulfilling that social contract. I think it is a big opportunity for us to re-examine our education
system.
And when I talk about education, I'm talking about Ghanaian education. What do we want education to do for us as Ghanaians? What do we want our education to respond to? Our education must respond to our realities, our values, our morals, our society. We cannot plan our education to respond to things in pre-colonial times and colonial times, and even Western education. No. In fact, every society, the advanced societies, when you go, their education is tailored around their immediate needs and the needs for the future.
Right.
Our education, look at the number of people that we are churning out in the humanities. I am a humanities student. I don't say on any day that the humanities is not important. But you look at your society and you determine it must be conscious, it must be deliberate, it must be intentional.
Right.
That in structuring up your education, it must respond to the needs of your society, the problems within your society. What are the problems within your society? What are the values of that society? How does your education shape that? Education cannot just be structured to flow. A free flow is just people are just going to school, people are just coming out of universities, from senior high schools, and they don't even know what they are about. We don't even know what we are about. You come out, you don't even be featured. You feature into the system. If it is about the net, everybody is chaotic, if I can use that word.
Right.
Our education is a mess, it's chaotic, it is the survival of the fittest. You finish school, and it is about if your parents or you have friends who have connections and can help you. It's just chaotic survival of the fittest type of an education that we are running in this country. We must get it right. And for me, I'm excited about this forum. It's an opportunity for all of us, some of us, for example, that have opinions on this, to express them. Not just express them, but what is the way forward?
Exactly.
What solutions can we bring on board to help address all this? And we hope that at the end of the day, when the document is put together, it doesn't just go to the shelves and then go and gather that there, but government will implement it to the spirit and letter of that policy document.
Right. Very, very, very good points that you raised there. Because, but as to whether we're going to have them talk about some of the things that you mentioned, because one savings, I mean, you don't know the line of conversations, yes, that they are going to have at the committee level. But it is something we can only hope, and I hope that some of these things that we are talking about, I mean, a complete overhaul in our education system will be considered. So that we can tailor it, just like you said, we can tailor it to the needs of the nation. Let me come to Azuri. Azuri, your thoughts on that?
So as Ebe said, fine, it's just a political campaign promise that President Mahama is trying to fulfill. And for me, I think that it shouldn't just be a mere fulfillment of a political campaign. We are looking at a very strategic document that will serve as a blueprint for our educational sector. And as I express confidence in the new Minister of Education, he is very, very competent, and I think that he will lead the process very well. But you see, Ghana, I don't know, we are much interested in forming committees just to fulfill political promises. But at the end of the day, the report will come out, recommendation will be given, and then it will be gathering dust somewhere as to whether action will be taken, will be another issue. But you see, for educational sector, it's a very big issue. And I think that if this committee really mean work, they shouldn't fail Ghanaians. Because if you look at the eminent people they have put on the committee, I think they have all have the necessary experience and expertise to be able to investigate and then bring out the issues. And you see, this committee came about as a result of the past experience that we have for over 8 years. The Free Senior High School was a very big one, and a lot of experts were calling for a review of the Free Senior High School, or even just have a national dialogue on the way forward for Free Senior High School. And then this never happened. So this government, looking at that opportunity, decided to launch on it and say, okay, I am going to form a committee to look at to come up with a national consensus as to whether how we should go about with our educational activity. So I think that they should do wider consultation. They should identify the relevant stakeholders in the educational sector, and they should also try as much as possible to reach out to other people who have served within the educational sector to bring their expertise. I mean, the key point is the teachers and then the headmasters and head of schools.
Right.
They should be very, very much interested because they are the implementers of every policy. And if they don't come out to voice out their challenges, I don't think we will have a very good and successful report coming from the committee.
From them. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's also look at some other stories. I have the Ghanaian Times. Azuri, you have some other headlines, right?
Yes,
I mean, some other newspapers.
The new finder.
Yes, start from that.
Yes. So University of Ghana Business School empowers rural entrepreneurs as phase 2 of BRINGS project conclude. And then HR expert advocate for clear policy on workplace relationship. This one I should have.
You want to talk about it there.
Ghana requires drastic measures to transform economy. This is according to Professor Stephen Adai. All this on the front page of the new finder.
Okay. Also, I have the Ghanaian Times here. It says that NDC Pro Forum supports Ablakwa to advance Ghana's global agenda. And also, don't keep LPG cylinders indoors. NPA cautions. Comes with a picture of the NPA boss, Mr. Eduji Tamaklo. And then arrest and prosecute illegal miners. President Mahama directs 3 ministers to take action. And also, the Business and Financial Times. Digital connectivity key to Africa's vision of a single market, and that's coming from the CEO of MTN. And then renegotiating lithium deal could hurt investor confidence. And also Dr. Johnson Esiama appointed new BOG governor. And then Dr. Addison proceeds to terminal leave ahead of retirement. And then pension AUM to hit 100 billion Ghana cedis in 2025.
The Chronicle newspaper on the front page, Mahama fully support African Prosperity Dialogue, calls for removal of trade barriers. The chaos at appointment committee sittings, no nonsense speaker, Bagvin's ruling challenge.
Okay.
Interesting. And then MPA warns public not to keep LPG cylinders indoors.
Right.
That is also another story. And then the Daily Dispatch, tables and microphone destroyed in fights in parliament. Oh, okay. All mining leases in foreign reserve by MPP government will be revoked. That's according to President Mahama. And then the last one I have is
that. I'm interested in that story.
The mining story.
Yeah.
And then the new crusading guide, Stop the Lies, group to Daniel Keshi Besi over electrochem.
Right.
And then Tanko Kwamiga's Council of State bid speak uproar.
Right.
And make criminal allegations.
Okay.
Alex Dedi champions diaspora investment for African transformation at African Prosperity Dialogue. African Prosperity Dialogue has come to stay, according to Mahama. Rejoinder, fraud allegations surface against Angela Liz amidst false claim.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Abel.
So,
hello, Abel. Abel.
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
are you with me?
Yes. I can hear
Yes.
you.
So I want you to speak on any of the stories that we've mentioned. I don't know whether you heard any of them, but if not, I could just mention
I
some.
think I heard about the parliamentary chaos issue at the appointments committee. I also heard about the Galamsey issue.
All right. So you may want to touch on that for 2 minutes for me. Any of them for 2 minutes.
Yes. On the chaos in parliament and the speaker's ruling, I think a lot of us have disagreed with the suspension of the members, the 4 members, without hearing. But the other measures that were instituted, we thought that was in the right direction. For example, setting up the committees to look into the issues, officially reporting the issues to the police CID to take to investigate. So the thinking was that once these measures had been initiated, the speaker will wait for the outcome before going ahead to pronounce on issues of suspension. Now, if you even look at the parliamentary standing orders and can argue that, for example, the right to fair hearing, that these members were not heard. At least the Speaker should have given them the opportunity to be heard. And then once it's heard, then maybe you can pass the measure on suspension. But I think that it was not fair to them to not be heard before that particular decision was taken. Now, for example, if the committee comes out with its findings and does not recommend suspension, it means they were suspended for no reason. And these are not just ordinary people, but they are representing constituents. They are representing the good people of Ghana from different parts of the country. If you suspend them in the next 2 weeks, businesses that are going to be taking place in the House, those constituents will not have representation. They will not have their voices heard on those matters. So when it comes to dealing with MPs, I think that whilst we condemn unreservedly what happened at the appointment committee, and we condemn the attitude of the MPs, and we call them out for being reckless, for disgracing and embarrassing the whole nation. Of course, Ghana has become a mockery in the international system. Internationally, these videos went viral. People are calling our MPs irresponsible. If they are calling our MPs irresponsible, it means the citizens are also irresponsible. So it cuts across. It's a global embarrassment for all of us, and we cannot emphasize that any less.
But
I think that
the concern that has been raised is, on what grounds did we select those 4 people? Because we saw a lot of people in the act, right? So how did we select those 4?
Exactly. That's why some are suggesting that it is cherry picking because it's the Speaker's discretion. But of course, the Constitution says where discretion is given to a public servant, that discretion must be exercised in a manner that builds confidence. A lot of people, like you said, we all saw the videos. On what basis do you determine that these 4 people should be suspended, but the rest should not be suspended? We saw the minority leader on live TV calling a clerk to Parliament, telling a clerk to the committee that she's ashamed and that she should be ashamed, and led the whole caucus to put a clerk to the committee. The Speaker must be protecting that clerk. What did she do about it? So it's the selectiveness, and that is why people are calling that discretion, the exercise of that discretion. In fact, in the exercise of that discretion, which law, which rule, which order did you, gave you that power to exercise that discretion? So the only order that comes close, and that is what people are discussing. In fact, when the minority caucus released its statement, it mentioned, or if you look at order 129, 130 to 131, 132 of the standing order, where there are rules on disorderly attitude in the House, where if a member exhibits any such attitude, what should happen is there. But none of the procedures were activated. You understand? So that's why I said that the behavior, whatever happened at the appointment committee, must be condemned unreservedly. In fact, I don't know how we can condemn it and make our feelings known. But for me, I also think that once those measures of the committee report to the CID and all that were given, it should have ended there. By the outcome of the committee's recommendations to the House. And then you can take a decision. But now, that particular decision, of course, it has brought some sanity to the House. We must also admit to that. Because remember on Friday, now when the minority disagreed, they had to walk out calmly because they knew that if you mess up again, some people can be suspended.
Exactly. Because your numbers don't even amount to much, and you're also being suspended. Then they affect you.
You have to behave yourself before you're suspended.
Exactly.
I think yes, the speaker recall his
Right,
decision.
right.
Yes,
Thank you
on
very
the
much.
suspension.
All
Yeah.
right, sure. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
joining us this morning. Azuri, I'm grateful. I'm super grateful that you came. Well, it's exactly 7 o'clock, and Samuela Entry brings you the business news. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
Hello and welcome to the business news segment on Business Breakfast on Zed. Coming up, Ghana requires drastic measures to transform economy. Also, UGBS empowers rural entrepreneurs as phase 2 of Bring project concludes. And also Ghana to host Investment Trade Week in July. I am Samuela Intri. Let's settle in for the details. The renowned development economist Emeritus Professor Stephen Adair is urging the government to take audacious steps to stimulate growth, particularly in Ghana's real sectors. That implies limiting the importation of some products, including rice and fruit juices, while creating an enabling environment for locally processing and manufacturing businesses to thrive. The real sectors, agriculture, industry and manufacturing, are considered the backbone of Ghana's economy, providing employment, income and contributing to the country's gross domestic product. Nonetheless, these sectors have suffered fluctuating growth, a situation Emeritus Prof said required bold steps to be addressed by the government. He also recommended to the government to ensure a greater collaboration between the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana for effective management of fiscal and monetary policies.
We must take some drastic measures that will allow the real economy to grow. Because if we don't grow agriculture, we don't grow our local businesses and other things, we have to see how we are going to reduce imports. And not all imports across the board. We need some, there are certain things we don't need in this country. For example, we don't need to import 1 liter of juice. But if you do the right thing, by the end of the 4 years, people would see the transformation, and nobody would say a government which has brought relief to our life should be thrown out.
And that was Emeritus Professor Stephen Adair. Away from that, the University of Ghana Business School's Innovation and Incubation Hub, NEST, has successfully transformed the economic landscape of several rural communities through agribusiness and food processing following the conclusion of the second phase of the Bridging the Research Innovation Industry Assimilation Gap through Technology Capacity Building in Rural Ghana Bring project. The initiative, funded by the RISA Fund, has been instrumental in converting academic research into practical income-generating ventures for rural entrepreneurs. At the closing ceremony, the manager, Jackson Apieje Jr., emphasized the tangible benefits the project has delivered to rural communities. Also, the technical lead for RISA Fund Ghana, Gameli Ajaho, reaffirmed the fund's commitment to supporting the next phase of the project. As UGBS looks ahead to future plans of the Bring project, there's optimism that more rural businesses will benefit from research-driven innovation, further strengthening Ghana's agribusiness sector and driving sustainable economic development. Moving on, more than 150 international businesses with a diverse array of innovations and projects are expected to converge in Accra in July for the Ghana Investment Trade Week, providing opportunities for networking and forging potential collaborations with local companies. This event, being organized by MIE Group and the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry, will bring together businesses from key markets from Asia, the Middle East and Europe to explore foreign direct investment opportunities in Ghana. It is being held on the theme Fostering Partnerships for Sustainable Growth, Bridging Trade and Real Estate Investment Across Continents. Speaking at the launch, Mr. Emmanuel Tetemate, chairman of the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry, said trade and real estate investment were vital ingredients for economic growth, and by bridging opportunities within Ghana Africa and the Americas would create a dynamic platform for mutual prosperity. Also, Mr. Emmanuel Sherry, Chief Executive Officer of Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry, said the Trade Week would provide an interface for industry players to market their activities under a common platform. A recap of the headlines. Ghana requires drastic measures to transform economy. Also, UGBS empowers rural entrepreneurs as phase 2 of Bring project concludes. Also, Ghana to host Investment Trade Week in July. And that will be all for business news on Business Breakfast on Zed. You can visit www.zedmultimedia.com. You can also follow us on all our social media handles. ZFMGH on Instagram, Facebook and X, and Zed Multimedia on TikTok and YouTube. I am Samuela Aintree. Thanks for listening. And up next is Sports Flash with Lukeman Evergreen Moomin. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to Zed 101.9 FM, your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Calling all lovers to feel the love this Valentine with Love A to Z on ZFM.
We're bringing love to life in every way, whether it's a grand gesture or a simple story.
Share your love moments with us, dedicate your favorite songs, and win amazing prizes along the way.
Tune in to Love A to Z on ZFM 101.9.
From Wednesday the 29th of January to Friday, February 14th, you'll have the chance of winning amazing prizes from interactions on all our social media channels.
From BBZ to the brighter side with NYA the brand, and all the way to Highway 1019.
This Valentine, we'll make it every day a day to remember. Tune in, feel the love, and let us make your celebration unforgettable.
In the heart of Accra, nestled in the vibrant neighborhood of East Legon and New Beacon, a 360 multimedia farmhouse emerged. Introducing Zed Multimedia. With a steadfast focus on lifestyle, leisure and business, we set out to bring high-value oriented programs that captivate the taste and desires of our audience. From the captivating airwaves of Zed 101.9 FM to the dynamic visuals of Zed TV and the innovative realms of Zed Digital and the incubation of advanced technological knowledge at Zed Tech, every facet of modern media is meticulously curated to engage and inspire. Also, let's not forget the new Finder newspaper, now under the Zed Multimedia umbrella, delivering insightful journalism with a business focus. Join us on the journey where innovation meets inspiration, where lifestyle meets leisure, and where business thrives. Change is here. Zed Multimedia, your lifestyle, leisure and business platform.
You're tuned in to Zed 101.9 FM, your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
The stage is set for something special.
It is time to go racing.
Garnacho! Oh wow! Oh wow! LeBron James with no regard for human life. You couldn't write a script like this.
Here's Metzer, this is positive. Williams!
Kudos! The Korean joy did not last for long.
Oh my gosh, kudos.
Step back for Partey! Oh yes! Oh yes, oh yes! Thomas Partey!
Hello, good morning. It's time for Sports Flash on a Business Breakfast on Zed. My name is Lukman Evergreen Moment, and it was a sad Sunday in the Ghana Premier League after chaotic scenes in Nswatre led to the death of a football fan. In England, Arsenal taught Manchester City a footballing lesson. Mikel Arteta, the apprentice, has now grown in the trade. Now, both Napoli and Inter Milan dropped points in Italy, and the NBA produced one of the most shocking trades of all time. We also have results from the games that were played last night. Well, we begin with the Ghana Premier League, and like I said earlier, it was a really sad Sunday for fans of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Now, Asante Kotoko have confirmed the tragic passing of a club supporter identified as Nana Pole, who was stabbed multiple times following the team's Ghana Premier League clash with Nswatriman FC on Sunday. Now, in a statement, the club revealed that the members of the media and supporters who traveled from Kumasi to support the team were attacked, leading to the death of that fan. Meanwhile, Swatriman FC have issued a statement to mourn the passing of the deceased diehard fan of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. In that press release, Swatriman FC extended their condolences to the family of the supporter and the Porcupine Warriors. Now, the Ghana Football Association has also issued a statement condemning the acts of violence witnessed during the Premier League encounter between Nswatriman FC and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Now, the Week 19 match on Sunday at the Nana Chronomancer Park was interrupted in the second half when alleged supporters of the home team threw objects towards the bench of the visitors. Now, the Ghana Football Association has also immediately banned the Nana Chronomancer Park in Nswatre and ordered the investigations into the death of the Kotoko fan. Now, to results from matches that were played yesterday, the game between Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Nswatriman FC ended with the host winning by a goal to 0. Vision FC came from behind to beat Accra Lions by 2-1. Karela United defeated Brekum Chelsea 2-1. Ibiani Gold Stars were held by FC Samatex. Adriana Stars also beat Bechem United by a goal to 0. Ibrahim Tanko began life as coach of Mediama with a 1-0 home win over Legon Cities, while Dreams FC defeated Baseke Holy Stars by 2-1. Young Apostles traveled to Kumasi to surprise Nations FC by 2-1. Now, on Friday at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium, Accra House of Folk closed the gap at the top of the table with a 1-0 victory over Heart of Lions, thanks to a second half penalty from Mauli Wayo. Midfielder Seth Osei made his debut for the Phobians, and he had this to say about moving to Accra House of Folk.
It's just normal because Coach Watara has always been advising me. Even before I came into this team, he always called me and tell me that, look, you don't need to put pressure on yourself. You need to always take everything easy, and the rest is gonna come. So this match is not easy match, as you can see. You know, it's a big match, but.
Well, so that was Seth Osei, who joined Accra House of Folk in the January transfer window. Now, former captain of the club, Yao Amankwa Mreku, has opened up on the changes in House of Folk's transfer style and how it affects players when they arrive. Now, he stated that it is easy to integrate players from the youth team, Auroras, than bringing in big name stars.
House of Folk has traditions and customs to deal with. You know what I'm saying? If you look at players like Ishmael Ado, Luis Ajiman, and others, you know, they all recruited from Auras to Hearts of Folk, and look at the performance. And they look at those players that were bought from other clubs that they think they were good king in their various clubs. When they came to Hearts of Folk, I mean, they couldn't perform as they went in their previous clubs. And so it tells you House of Folk has its customs and traditions that we need to follow. You know what I'm saying? We need to keep it going. And so for me, if you look at a player like, you could see how, I mean, his performance is
well, that was Accra House of Folks 2004 CAF Confederations Cup Championship winning captain Yao Amankwa Mreko. Now, Sports Minister Designate Kofi Adams says he is struggling to understand why members of the management committee team of the national teams and clubs will receive the same money or even more for playing no particular role on the pitch. Now, his comments were in relation to the $100,000 received by members of the management committee of the Black Stars at the 2022 FIFA World Cup.
I was having an engagement with some of your colleagues earlier, and they were talking about some monies that are paid to some members of what management committees of some associations. Yes. And I asked myself, is he right? Is he wrong? What's the justification? Have we really sat through to find out whether that is how it should be done? And we need to have a serious conversation about that. Whether that we do certain things and people think that, oh no, the game is now a platform for some people to, as we say it in quotes, to chop our money. Maybe that may not be the case.
That may not be the case under Kofi Adams as Minister of Sports and Recreation. Now to the English Premier League, Arsenal moved to within 6 points of Premier League leaders Liverpool by thrashing Manchester City at the Emirates. Now Martin Odegaard opened the scoring before Erling Haaland leveled in the second half. Thomas Partey responded with a cracker with Luis Kelly, Kai Havertz and Ethan Nwaneri all on target for the Gunners. Now here is an excited Mikel Arteta after the match.
Oh, we didn't plan it certainly, but very pleased. I mean, the results I think is big. I think the manner that we've done it as well, it's really impressive. And yeah, a lot of things have to go your way. You need big performances individually. You need a bit of luck in the right moments, and then you need to be very efficient. And we had all those ingredients today in the game to make it happen.
Well, that was Mikel Arteta of Arsenal speaking after that 5-1 win over Manchester City. Now, on Saturday, league leaders Liverpool beat AFC Bournemouth by 2-0. Nottingham Forest thumped Brighton by 7-0. Newcastle United lost at home 2-1 to Fulham. Wolverhampton Wanderers beat Aston Villa by 2-0, with Tottenham securing a 2-0 away win at Brentford. Now, Manchester United were outclassed by Crystal Palace after a Jean-Philippe Mateta brilliant. Now here is Man United manager disappointed after the game.
I think we had some moments, some better moments with the ball. We created some chances. The 2 goals that we suffer, we can avoid that kind of goals. And then after suffering the first one, was really hard on the team. But then we have to settle down. It's 1-0, so we can change the game. Leach injury is massive for us, and then the second goal killed the game, and then tough result for us.
Well, that was Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim after the 2-0 defeat to Crystal Palace. Down to Spain, Barcelona moved 4 points behind La Liga leaders Real Madrid as Robert Lewandowski's goal was enough to edge past Deportivo Alaves. League leaders Real suffered a shock 1-0 defeat away at Espanyol on Saturday, and Barcelona took advantage of that to beat Deportivo Alaves. Now, Atletico Madrid defeated Mallorca by 2-0, with Atletico Bilbao drawing 2-2 at Real Betis. And in Italy, Inter Milan defender Stefan De Vrij scored a stoppage time equalizer to deny AC Milan victory in their Serie A encounter. Napoli, the league leaders, were held by AS Roma to a 1-1 draw, with Juventus thrashing Empoli by 4-1. In Germany, Bayern Munich defeated Holstein Kiel in a 7-goal thriller, with champions Bayern Leverkusen also thrilling to a 3-1 victory over Hoffenheim. And in France, Marseille defeated Lyon by 3-2. PSG thumped Brest by 5-2, with AS Monaco surviving Auxerre with a 4-2 comeback win. Now, Aston Villa have completed the loan signing of Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford. The 27-year-old has joined on a deal until the end of the season, which includes an option to buy. And in the NBA, 5-time All-Star Luka Doncic has joined the Los Angeles Lakers in a huge 3-way deal. Doncic, who moves from the Dallas Mavericks, was hailed as one of a kind young global superstar by the Lakers as the move was confirmed on Sunday evening. Now, Anthony Davis, an NBA title winner with the Lakers in 2020, has also moved to the Dallas Mavericks as part of a deal along with guard Max Christie. Now, to results from the games that were played last night, the Portland Trail Blazers defeated the Phoenix Suns by 127 to 108. The Chicago Bulls also lost to the Detroit Pistons. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers thumped the Dallas Mavericks 144 to 101. The Toronto Raptors also defeated the LA Clippers, with the Philadelphia 76ers also losing to the Boston Celtics. And finally, the Memphis Grizzlies also defeated Giannis Antetokounmpo's Milwaukee Bucks. That will be all for sports this morning. My name is Lukman Evergreen Moment. Business Breakfast on Zed continues with Ni Trebi Hammond.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
1, 2, 3!
Dive into a world of exhilarating fun, refreshing thrills, and endless splashes at the Marina Water Park inside Lakeside. With a wide array of water attractions, you are guaranteed an unforgettable experience for the whole family. Open Saturdays 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sundays 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Call 0508 598 948 or 0204 775 044. Follow us on all socials at Lakeside Marina Park. Marina Water Park. Love the experience.
Hello, fun!
All lovers to feel the love this Valentine with Love A to Z on Zed FM.
We're bringing love to life in every way, whether it's a grand gesture or a simple story.
Share your love moments with us, dedicate your favorite songs, and win amazing prizes along the way.
Tune in to Love A to Z on ZFM 101.9.
From Wednesday the 29th of January to Friday February 14th, you'll have the chance of winning amazing prizes from interactions on all our social media channels.
From BBC to the brighter side with NYA the brand, and all the way to Highway 1019.
This Valentine, we'll make it every day a day to remember. Tune in, feel the love, and let us make your celebration unforgettable.
Sugar, my honey, my sweet. Without you, life not as sweet. I go back.
So don't wait until it's too late. Call Doman today and make this Val's Day one for the memories. Trust me, your loved one will thank you. Call Doman on 020-110-0533, 020-110-0533, or visit www.domanfoods.com. Doman Foods, that need a taste.
Donuts and pastries sent from above. No be only flowers, no be only rains. Doman donuts make our love sing. Sweet like honey, sweet like sugar too. Doman pastries make our love shine through.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM. Zed 101.9 FM.
If it had not been the Lord on my side, who cares for me? The Lord that knew my destiny saved me and clothed me. He gave me hope when all hope was lost.
to us. And it's exactly 9:30 and or 7:30. How come I just said 9:30? Anyway, but 7:30. It looks like I want the time to go very fast. But it's exactly 7:30, 7:30, and it's time for Business Brief. Well, of course, one more time, you're welcome back to Business Breakfast on Zed, 101.9 FM with me, Ni Trebi Hammond. Now, this morning on Business Brief, I want to share something very, very important with you, and I am sure that you love it. Let's talk about something very inspiring, how some of the world's biggest businesses started as simple passions. Now, of course, what I'm coming to share with you are not just stories about success, but they are reminders of the fact that what you love can turn into something very big than you can ever imagine. Now, the very first one I want to talk to you about this morning is Apple. Apple, the brand Apple, not Apple as a fruit. I mean the brand Apple. It just started as Steve Jobs' love for technology. Now, when we think of Apple, we picture iPhones, MacBooks, and global domination. But in 1976, it was just two guys, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, working out of a garage. Now, their passion was simple. They were just interested in building computers that were simple, beautiful, and easy to use. And that is what birthed iPhone. Now, Jobs wasn't motivated by money at first. He was obsessed with design, innovation, and challenging the status quo. Now, that passion drove Apple to create products that people didn't even know they needed. Today, as we speak, Apple is worth over $3 trillion. But it all started with two friends and a garage full of wires. That is how Apple started. The second story I want to share with you is about Starbucks. Did you know that Starbucks didn't even start as a coffee shop? In 1971, it was just a small store in Seattle selling coffee beans and equipment. Then came a gentleman called Howard Schultz, who fell in love with the Italian coffee culture during a trip to Milan. One day he traveled to Milan, and then he fell in love with the coffee culture there. And he had a vision. Why not bring this coffee experience to America? And of course, this idea wasn't just about selling coffee. I mean, his idea wasn't just about selling coffee. It was just about creating a community space where people could connect over a cup of coffee. Now, Schultz's passion transformed Starbucks into a global phenomenon with over 30,000 stores worldwide. It just started with him falling in love with the coffee culture in Italy. And then the third story I want to share with you, another big brand that came out of a passion, is Nike. Nike was born out of a passion of running. Before Nike became the giant it is today, it was just a dream shared by Bill Bowerman, a track coach, and Phil Knight, one of his athletes. In the early 1960s, they were obsessed with making better running shoes. Bowerman even experimented by pouring rubber into his wife's waffle iron to create new type of soles. That passion of improving athletic performance alone led to the creation of Nike. They just thought that, why can't we make better shoes? The shoes they were using at the time weren't the best. They weren't feeling comfortable in those shoes. They thought, why can't we make better running shoes? And that is what led to the creation of Nike. Today, Nike swoosh is one of the most recognizable logos in the world. And it all started with two people passionate about running. The fourth business that I want to point out to you this morning is Spanx. Spanx. Many of you might know Spanx. But it was started by Sarah Blakely. Now, Sarah wasn't just a fashion designer. She wasn't a fashion designer. She was a saleswoman who had just wanted to wear white pants without worrying about visible panty lines. Frustrated with the options available, she decided to create her own product. And that's how Spanx was born. She started with $5,000 in savings, no background in business, a lot of determination, and what have you. But today, Spanx is a $1 billion company, and Sarah Blakely became the youngest self-made female billionaire. And that is something that should inspire you. Another business that I want to talk to you about this morning is Canva. Canva. I know many of you might know Canva. It just started with the passion to simplify design. Melanie Perkins was a student at, an university student from Australia. And she was just frustrated with how complicated graphic design softwares were. So she believed that anyone should be able to design beautiful graphics without needing to be a professional. Now that frustration turned into a passion. And then that passion turned into Canva, a design platform with, as we speak, over 100 million users worldwide. It's now a multi-billion-dollar company, but it all started with one student's simple idea to make design easier. Now, these businesses that I've spoken about didn't start with billion-dollar investments. They didn't start with the fancy offices or perfect business plans. They started with passion, a simple idea, a frustration, or a desire to make or to do something differently. And that's it. Think about it. Steve Jobs wasn't trying to build a $1 trillion company when he was tinkering with computers in his parents' garage. Howard Schultz he just wanted to bring the cozy community feel of Italian coffee shops to America. Sarah Blakely was tired of wearing underwears showing her panty lines. It wasn't about chasing money at all. For all of them, it wasn't about chasing money. It was just about solving a problem, doing something better, or sharing something they loved. And that is what bet these businesses that we're talking about. So what can we learn from it? From this? The very first thing we can learn from it is that passion gives you purpose. Your passion gives you purpose. When you are passionate about something, it doesn't feel like work. You will show up early, stay up late, push through challenges because you genuinely care. And that's what keeps you going when things get tough. I enjoy what I do here. And so when I wake up at my 4 a.m. or sometimes 3 a.m. getting ready for work, I don't feel like I am coming to work because I enjoy what I do. And so your passion can give you purpose. Another thing that you can learn from that is that you don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to have it all figured out. None of these founders had everything planned from day one. Steve Jobs had no formal engineering background. Sarah Blakely had never designed clothing before. Melanie Perkins didn't even know how to code. But they started anyway. They figured things out along the way. So if you're waiting to feel ready, you might be waiting forever. Start with what you have. Start where you are and learn as you go. Number 3, the third thing we can learn from this is that solve a problem and people will pay for it. Just solve a problem, people will pay for it. At the core of every successful business is a simple truth. It solves problem. Every business solves a problem. Nike solved the problem of uncomfortable, inefficient running shoes. Canva solved the problem of complicated design tools. Starbucks solved the problem of bland coffee experiences. And that is what birthed these businesses. So find a problem and solve it. Now, what problem can you solve? Because if you can find the answer to that, you are already halfway there. What problem can you solve? Think about it. Think about it today. What problem can I solve? What problem can I solve? Now, the last one that I want to share with you is that passion attracts people. When you are truly passionate about something, people can feel it, and it is contagious. That is why investors eventually believed in Apple. That is why customers lined up outside the first Starbucks. And that is why Canva grew like wildfire. Passion sells, not just products, but ideas, dreams, and movements. All of these things sell. So what's holding you back? If you've got a passion, a burning idea, a hobby you love, a problem you've noticed, don't ignore it. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow or have everything figured out. Just start small. Take the first step and see where it leads. But because honestly, the difference between you and the founders of Apple, Nike, and Canva is that they just started. They just started. So just start. And who knows, your passion could be the next big thing. So That's what we'll be diving into today in our roundtable discussion, how you can turn your passion or what you love into a thriving business. And we have someone who has done it who will be joining us. Well, that's all for Business Brief this morning. Up next is Transport Today. Solomon Tetenate joins me shortly for that. Stay tuned.
This is the pre-boarding announcement for flight 3728.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Well, this is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Nee Trebi Hammond. I have joined, I've been joined this morning by Solomon Tetenate, who's bringing us a transport today. Solo, how are you doing?
By the grace of God, I'm doing well. What about you?
Yeah, I'm doing very well too. You're looking very fresh.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you got a haircut.
How was your weekend?
It was good. Yes, I had a very restful weekend.
Interesting.
For the first time in a long time, I had 8 hours of sleep.
Oh wow!
Yes, so
that's interesting.
It was
Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity because I had to do some runs and all that. So I think the whole of the weekend I've slept not more than 8 hours. So yeah, from Wednesday. From Friday. I mean, yeah.
You need to get rest. Anyway, so tell us the flight schedules for today.
Okay, so I'm taking you through the flight schedules for today, and that is Passion Air and then Africa World Airlines, because they are operating domestically in Ghana at the moment. Right. So I'm starting with Passion Air. Sure. So Passion Air Accra to Kumasi, we have 4 flights available today. So in case you want to go to Kumasi and you want to fly, then maybe this will be of importance to you. You need to take note of it. So 4 flights available today, and first flight takes off 6:20 a.m. and then arrives in Kumasi at 7 a.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 7:30 a.m. and then arrives in Accra at 8:10 a.m. Second flight takes off 11:20 a.m. in Accra and then arrives in Kumasi at 12 p.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 12:30 p.m. and then arrives in Accra at 1:10 p.m. Third flight takes off 1:50 p.m. in Accra and then arrives in Kumasi at 2:30 p.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 3 p.m. and then arrives in Accra at 3:40 p.m. And then the last flight for Passion Air Accra to Kumasi. Passion Air Accra to Kumasi. It takes off 7:20 p.m. in Accra and then arrives in Kumasi at 8:10 p.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 8:30 p.m. and then arrives in Accra at 9:20 p.m. So that is Passion Air Accra to Kumasi today.
Right.
Let's look at Accra to Takoradi. Accra to Takoradi. We have 2 flights available today. First flight takes off 8:50 a.m. and then arrives in Takoradi at 9:40 a.m. and then takes off in Takoradi at 10 a.m. and then arrives in Accra at 10:50 a.m. Second flight takes off 4:20 p.m. in Accra and then arrives in Takoradi at 5:10 p.m. and then takes off in Takoradi at 5:40 p.m. and then arrives in Accra at 6:30 p.m. So that is all for Accra to Takoradi Passion Air.
Right.
Accra to Sunyani Passion Air, we have 1 flight available today, and it takes off in Accra at 9:30 a.m. and then gets to Sunyani at 10:30 a.m. and then takes off in Sunyani at 10:50 a.m. and then arrives in Accra at 11:50 a.m. So that is Passion Air Accra to Sunyani. We need to take note of that. Accra to Wa, we have 1 flight available today. Accra to Wa, we have 1 flight. First flight takes off 12:20 p.m. and then arrives in Wa at 2 p.m. and then takes off in Wa at 2:30 p.m. and then arrives in Accra at 4 p.m. So Passion Air Accra to Wa, we have 1 flight available today. Accra to Tamale, Passion Air. We have two flights. We have two flights available. First flight takes off 6 a.m. and then arrives in Tamale at 7:20 a.m. and then takes off in Tamale at 7:50 a.m. and then gets to Accra at 9:10 a.m. Second flight takes off 4 p.m. in Accra and then arrives in Tamale at 5:20 p.m. and then takes off in Tamale at 5:50 p.m. and then gets to Accra at 7:10 p.m. So that is Passion Air, Accra to Kumasi, Accra to Takrade, Accra to Sunyane, Accra to Wa, and then Accra to Tamale. So let's look at Africa World Airlines. Africa World Airlines, Accra to Kumasi. We have 5 flights available today. First flight takes off 9:40 a.m. and then arrives in Kumasi at 10:20 a.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 10:50 a.m. and then arrives in Accra at 11:30 a.m. Second flight takes off 12 p.m. in Accra and then gets to Kumasi at 12:40 p.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 1:10 p.m. and then arrives in Accra at 1:50 p.m. So that is the second flight. Third flight takes off 2:10 p.m. in Accra and then arrives in Kumasi at 2:50 p.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 3:20 p.m. and then gets to Accra at 4 p.m. Fourth flight takes off 4:30 p.m. in Accra and then arrives in Kumasi at 5:10 p.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 5:40 p.m. and then gets to Accra at 6:20 p.m. And then the last flight for Africa World Airlines, Accra to Kumasi, takes off 7 p.m. in Accra and then arrives in Kumasi at 7:40 p.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 8:10 p.m. and then gets to Accra at 8:50 p.m. So that is Africa World Airlines, Accra to Kumasi. Africa World Airlines, Accra to Kumasi. Let's look at Accra to Takrade, Africa World Airlines. We have 2 flights available today. First flight takes off 7:10 a.m. and then arrives in Takrade at 7:50 a.m. and then takes off in Takrade at 8:20 a.m. and then gets to Accra at 9 a.m. Second flight takes off 4:30 p.m. in Accra and then arrives in Takrade at 5:10 p.m. and then takes off in Takrade at 5:40 p.m. and then gets to Accra at 6:20 p.m. So that is Accra to Takrade, Africa World Airlines. Africa World Airlines, Accra to Tamale. Africa World Airlines, Accra to Tamale. We have 4 flights available today. First flight takes off 6:30 a.m. and then arrives in Tamale at 7:30 a.m. and then takes off in Tamale at 8 a.m. and then gets to Accra at 9 a.m. Second flight takes off 9:30 a.m. in Accra and then arrives in Tamale at 10:30 a.m. and then takes off in Tamale at 11 a.m. and then gets to Accra at 12 p.m. Third flight takes off 12:30 p.m. and then arrives in Tamale at 1:30 p.m. and then takes off in Tamale at 2 p.m. and then gets to Accra at 3 p.m. And then the last flight for Accra to Tamale, Africa World Airlines, takes off in Accra at 3:30 p.m. and then gets to Tamale at 4:30 p.m. and then takes off in Tamale at 5 p.m. and then gets to Accra at 6 p.m. So that is all for the flight schedule for today. Okay. Yes, please. Let's look at the situation, the traffic situation in town. Looking at Accra Tema motorway, when you're coming from Tema, there is traffic at the Victory Bible Church International. Yes, all the way to getting close to Accra Mall. So there's massive traffic over there. When you are going, it's free, but when you are coming, that is where the traffic is. So we should take note of that. And then Ring Road, when you get to Sankara and you are going to Circle, from Sankara all the way to Nima Junction, there is traffic over there that we need to also take note of that. And then West Hosmore to Malam Junction, there's also traffic over there at the moment, so we need to also take note of that. And then Teshi Road to Laboma Beach. When you're using that route, there's also traffic over there that we need to take note of that. So that is the traffic situation in town. And Thursday we made our listeners aware that there was a crash, a plane and then a helicopter crash. There's been an update on that. Yesterday there's been an update from the American Airlines. They've updated us as to what is going on. So the CEO of American Airlines, Robert Isom, has stated that the National Transportation Safety Board will be the only source of information surrounding the terrible mid-air incident or accident involving the American Airlines flight 5342. So he was stating that the National Transportation Safety Board will be the solely source that will be giving updates about the incident. And also he stated that all the 67 people in both airlines died, so none of them were able to survive. And even President Trump has also come and they are no longer with us. So that is the update so far concerning that incident. Yes, please. And the Federal Aviation Administration has also banned most helicopter routes near Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport because of the incident. So they have also banned most of the routes near that airport. So that safety can
very much for coming. I'm grateful that you brought us this transport today. Now up next is Market Trends, and Emmanuel Boateng will be joining me for that. But let's take a spot of music. When we return, we'll be talking about the depreciation of the cedi, whether it will stabilize or it will continue to depreciate. Stay tuned.
Zed 101.9 FM.
Just can't touch. You're trying to show the world, but no one knows your name yet. You're trying to show the world, but no one knows your name yet. You wonder when and where and how you gonna make it. You know you can if you get the chance. In your face, seems the door keeps slamming. Now you're feeling more and more frustrated, and you're getting all kind of impatient. Waiting, we live and we learn.
leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM. Zed 101.9 FM.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio. Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Now, of course, biggest water park is now here. And the Marina Water Park is a new water and adventurous water park for fun and leisure. And it boasts of all the amazing water sports anyone at all can dream of, from adults to children. And it promises nothing but premium fun with diverse attractions. It is located at the Lakeside Marina Park and opens every weekend at 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturdays and 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sundays. 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturdays and 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sundays. And we are also open on all public holidays. The holidays are coming. Just make sure that is where you're going to celebrate them. Of course, bookings are available for schools, churches, and corporate institutions who wish to have a team bonding moment and a great time. You can call them on 020-477-5044, 020-477-5044, 020-477-5044, or 050-8598-948, 050-8598-948. You can as well follow us on our social media platforms at Lakeside Marina Park. Lakeside Marina Park on all social media platforms. Or visit www.lakesidemarinapark.com. When I say Marina Water Park, you say slide, splash, and swim. Now it's a month of love, and here at Zed, we are bringing you Love A to Z. It is going to be your ultimate guide to love and relationships. We'll be exploring every single thing from attraction, bonding, commitment, and many more. You can tune in every weekday on Business Breakfast on Zed and A Brighter Side, and Highway 1019 for expert advice, real life stories, and fun experiences or fun surprises. Make sure you don't miss any of the shows. You can as well get in touch with us via our WhatsApp platform on 0544 321019, 0544 321019. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and X at ZFMGH. ZFMGH on Instagram, Facebook, and X. Or call 030-395-6641. 030-695-6641. And stand a chance of winning some amazing giveaways from our sponsors. Well, this Valentine's Day or this Valentine period, we're making your everyday unforgettable. And this special event these special programs are sponsored by Doman Foods, Leberu Restaurant, and Zelu Beauty Clinic. You could actually win anything from these people. Doman has got some very good donuts. Leberu has got some very good seafoods and what have you. And Zelu, you could go do your pedicure, manicure, and any other thing that you need to keep yourself clean. Well, up next is Market Trends, and Emmanuel Boateng will be joining me right after, right before we get into. He'll be joining me shortly for that.
Today my body man no get matter. They need that swan we a crime on you. Wara 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 upon them plenty Tiana too many a ding. My enemies see no big God them no know my story. Oh now they don't care how I feel. Till early mornings I go on my knees and I talk to you. If you dare my body man no get matter. They need that swan everybody for the hootie go see take care. Mr. All power just showing off you wait here. But 3 more soon man if you play fair. You better use head, try believe too. A man in the armor about what them things do. I keep a diary for everything we've been through. And popping contracts go see ink soon. We go see the rain soon. It go fall. I be trying to correct my wrongs. We go in soon. We go ball. We go train me and you go call. If you dare my body, man, no get matter. They need that swan we a crime on you. Mama san can't be na me share when you know.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio. And business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM. If you dare my body, man, no get matter. They need that swan
Everybody for the hootie kwesi take care. It's no power just showing off you wait nah. 3 more suma no fi play fair. I use head, try believe too. A man at the omo baba what them things do. I keep a diary for everything we've been through. And for pink contracts go see ink soon. We go see the race soon. It go fall. I be trying to correct my wrongs. We go win soon. We go ball. We go train me and you go fall.
Well, you're still tuning to Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Ni Trebi Hammond. Now time for market. So I have in studio with me Emmanuel Boateng, who is going to help us break down some of the questions that we have for him this morning. He's our economic contributor here at Zed 101.9 FM. Ima, good morning.
Good morning, Raphael.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing very well myself. I think for some time now we've been seeing the CD do a bit better, and today as we speak the CD is 15.2 CDs compared to $1, and I think that's some good news. But I want us to go into what is influencing this and whether it will stabilize or continue to depreciate. With the new government that has come into power. We're not going to talk about it politically anyway. We're just going to talk about it generally. So what factors actually influence the stability of the Ghana cedi?
Okay, thank you very much, Raphael. Thank you for this insightful discussion this morning. A very good morning to all our listeners. For the stability of the cedi is an important issue. I mean, you need the cedi to be stable for several reasons, purposes of trade, among other things. So it's a key issue. The very first factor that affects the stability of the cedi is inflation. In fact, not just inflation, but rising inflation. Once inflation is high, it costs more to purchase some goods and services that in the past you would have purchased them at a relatively cheaper price.
Right.
Now, because it costs more to get those goods and services, it will mean that the purchasing power of the cedi has fallen. The ability of the cedi to buy has reduced. That weakens the cedi, since now people will need more cedis to buy the same amount of goods, and so the strength of the cedi would fall as a result of rising inflation. The other one has to do with government spending. Now, look at it this way. If the government spends more than it earns, in other words, if there is a budget deficit consistently, what is going to happen is that government would be relying on borrowing to be able to fund the deficit, the difference between what it has and what it intends spending. So that alone creates pressure on the economy, and the cedi will depreciate. It creates pressure on the economy, and that leads to the depreciation of the cedi. At this point, I may even want to chip in. I think a week ago or so, we looked at the borrowing of the government. We look at government debt. We look at our debt in cedi terms, our debt in dollar terms. And we saw how even at a lower dollar-denominated debt, the cedi equivalent was increasing. And this explains it. Because once you are borrowing, there is rising inflation and your currency is becoming weaker. What you are likely to experience is the case that your debt in cedi terms would have increased further because your currency or your primary currency is not as strong as it should be.
Right.
And so that is a major thing. Now, another one has to do with investor confidence. Investors come into this country to make some investments. Usually, I'm referring to foreign investors,
right.
and so they bring in some foreign currencies for their investment purposes. They will look at our economic policies. They are going to look at the stability of the economy, and they are also going to look at the general governance. If confidence in our economy is high, that drives more foreign investments, and that brings in more foreign currency,
right.
and that in itself strengthens the city. I don't want to be sounding like a prophet of doom, because all along there, I think 3 cases I've given looks at how the city is weakened.
Right.
But in this case, I want us to appreciate how the city can be strengthened. And so once you have more foreign inflows, explained through foreign direct investments, that strengthens the value of your city.
Right.
And that is another thing that we may have to look at. And so a good economy is necessary and sufficient for the strength of the city through investor confidence and foreign direct investment. That strengthens. And that is why, if you notice, anytime we have some inflows, IMF facility, World Bank, among others, the city gains some strength. And when you couple that with good fiscal discipline, couple that with good internal revenue generation as against government spending, if that is giving us some surplus and not a deficit, that consolidates the gain and gives the city a certain level of stability. And so it stands to reason that you need to be able to manage inflation well. I've said inflation is like air. You don't need 2 less of it, neither do you need 2 more of it. Or you can look at it like salt. You need a certain amount of it in your food to provide it the taste that is necessary.
Right.
And so inflation in itself is not really a bad concept, but it needs to be managed well. Our current inflation level is very high. I think you agree with me. It's high. You need, some other countries are doing single-digit inflations, even our neighbors, Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah.
And so we are doing double digits, not even in the 10s, but in the 20s. So that's quite high. That needs to be brought down. Prices of food. You know why I'm hitting on it. Consistently has been driving our inflation. And so once we are importing these things too, it weakens our currency. And so for us to be able to stabilize it, a lot of things must go into.
Right. We'll go into all of that very soon. Now, but there are people, I don't know whether this is true. Does hoarding the dollars actually affect our currency in any way?
Yeah.
Because some people get the dollars and keep it in their in their homes and in their rooms, because they don't want to spend it. They want it to rise, and then they want the Ghana cedis to rise so that they can actually go and what's the word? To change it, basically, right? Into the Ghana cedis and get a lot more money. Does it affect the business? Does it affect the currency?
Yeah, it does. It does. Let me start from a lighter note, then I'll get into some technical answers. Money functions as a store of value, and I'm sure you are aware of that. It stores value. Why would someone hoard the dollar?
Usually they know that the exchange rate will rise.
So it's because of the inherent value it presents relative to the city. So they want a price for the value on the dollar.
Okay.
And that is really just to understand why people do that. And it's bad. It's not a good practice. Money is supposed to flow.
Okay.
When you are hoarding the dollar, you've given it some attention. It has become attractive to you relative to the city. Exchange rate is determined by the forces of demand and supply. once there are people in Ghana hoarding the dollar, what that means is that there will be few dollar in the system that will be needed for trade purposes. That's why I'm saying money needs to flow.
Right.
Circulation. That is really what must happen to money. Once that happens, it means the supply side is short, the demand side. And so even when people need dollars for some transactions and business, they would not get access to it. And that in itself, that shortage in the system causes the cedi to lose value relative to the dollar. If I see maybe this microphone, if every media house in Ghana needs a microphone, someone has microphones, and the person is hoarding them, and they discover microphones somewhere in very short supply or limited supply, limited quantities, what do you think is going to happen to the price of the limited set of microphones that have been found?
Well, because of the demand, it's going to be high.
Exactly. So once dollar is hoarded, and demand is still at its rising levels, the dollar is in short supply or is in limited supply. And so the price of the dollar rises relative to the cedi. And that is explained as a weakening cedi, or the cedi is weakened as a result.
Right.
And so that is really the first thing. The first thing has to do with the demand and the supply. So reduced dollar supply in the Ghanaian market weakens the cedi, or weakens the strength of the cedi relative to the dollar. So that's the first thing. And you can look at the reverse. The increased demand for the dollar weakens the cedi as well. If more people believe the cedi will continue to, as it were, lose value. I started with that on that note.
Yeah.
If more people have that expectation, they rush to convert their money into dollars. That is essentially the illustration you were given. Or other stable currencies, maybe not the dollar, but some other stable currencies. So that they'll do what? They'll protect their wealth, they'll protect their value, because that is what money is supposed to act as. And so once the expectation is that the cedi would not act as a store of value, and the dollar or the euro or the pound would do that, then they convert their wealth into that other currency so that they are able to store their wealth. This speculative behavior therefore increases demand for the dollar, further pushing the exchange rate up and weakening the cedi in favor of the dollar. So that is another thing to carefully look at. And then the third one I'll touch on will be inflationary pressures.
Right.
When businesses hoard, it's not only individuals who hoard dollars. Businesses do hoard dollars. Yes, and that is even at an upper scale. Imagine the dollars you can hoard. That's against the dollar that a business can hoard. When businesses hoard dollars, instead of converting them back into cedi for transactions, import costs rise. Since Ghana depends heavily on imports, fuel, food, machinery, others, the higher exchange rate means businesses pass the cost on to consumers.
Okay.
And that would increase inflation.
I think that's something you've spoken about here.
Yeah, so that's a real case of hoarding. So when you hoard dollars, you're also contributing to increasing inflation.
Right.
That's the point I'm making.
That's the point.
When you, and I've just tried to walk everyone through the process. Maybe let me touch on one last one. I know there are many others, but this is important to me. It has a negative impact on investor confidence. Would you invest in a country where their currency fluctuates on the other end? The currency is fluctuating, it's weak. You will not want to invest, because when you invest there, the value of your investment will fall over time.
Right.
And so investor confidence is lost. Yeah, that's the last point I want to make.
Okay, so what role does the Bank of Ghana? I think one day we need to talk about where we came from in terms of how we used to spend. There was a time where we were doing just barter trades, and then we decided to introduce money. I want us to go into that conversation. Let people understand. Let our listeners understand where we've come from, and then we'll check whether it has negative impact on us today or some positive impact.
So I hope that's a conversation. To get it clearly, what what exactly is it? You want me to take you through the evolution of money?
So yeah, we need to look at the evolution of money and whether what we have now is serving us well. Because if back in the day, I don't have to, because now people are hoarding, like we just mentioned, they are hoarding dollars, right? And it's affecting the our currency and all of that. So maybe we can go into the evolution of money and then we break certain things down.
They are really taking me back to school.
we have to.
You are testing whether or not I understood what my lectures taught me. Yeah,
we'll get into that one day. Yeah, okay. Not today.
Not today. Yeah, I was going to try and.
Oh no.
Yeah,
we'll find a particular day and go into that.
Okay.
But what role does the Bank of Ghana play in stabilizing the cedi?
Well, Bank of Ghana is responsible for monetary policy, and so they play a very key role in terms of the stability of the cedi. But just importantly, I think it's instructive for me to note that Bank of Ghana's efforts alone would not sustain the stability of the cedi.
Right.
Historically, we've been seeing some work, but the fiscal side must respond, must be disciplined, because I've shown you how government spending in itself can weaken the cedi. And so if the fiscal side, which is government spending, revenue and expenditure, is not done appropriately, it's not done in response to or in an attempt to stabilize the cedi, be as it may, the Bank of Ghana could be working very hard at stabilizing the cedi, but it wouldn't work. So it will look this way. On one hand, we are using one hand to try and stabilize the cedi, and we are using another hand to try and destabilize the cedi. And so what we are going to see is going to be the true balance of the two. And that has been the problem that we have been facing as a country over time, not just with cedi stabilization, but also with inflationary pressures. So Bank of Ghana, by way of monetary policy, in terms of adjusting the interest rates and all, has an influence or impact inflation and influences investment decisions. And once Bank of Ghana is able to control, you see, when I was explaining the weakening of the cedi or the depreciation thereof, I touched on inflation and investor confidence.
Yeah.
Once Bank of Ghana does that, so that becomes a channel through which the cedi is stabilized.
Okay.
Once you are able to use monetary policy to control inflation levels, give investors confidence into the economy or give them confidence in the economy, they then invest in our economy by way of foreign direct investment, portfolio investment, among others. And that in itself helps to stabilize the cedi, because we will then see some inflows of foreign capital in our economy. And that helps with the supply of the dollar relative to the cedi. And subsequently, it reflects in the strength of the cedi. So that is one of the ways that Bank of Ghana helps. Another one has to do with foreign exchange interventions. Do we see that often? Buying of foreign currencies, selling them so that we are able to mitigate the limited supply of the foreign currency. You see, that is the real problem, because it's an issue of demand and supply. So that's another one. And then regulating the financial sector. Yes, we see that a lot. The financial sector, financial institutions, banks and all of that, they directly deal with forex. I mean, I know in Ghana we have another strong foreign exchange market. Forex bureaus. You know what I mean? And Abochi also plays a key role, because some time ago, you heard the popular saying, Bank of Ghana has the rates, Abochi has the dollar. And I think we shouldn't underestimate those markets, because they play some key role. So if I go to the bank now and say, you said that the cedi is 15.29 to a dollar. Interbank rate from Bank of Ghana. And I go to the bank and say it is 16. And I go to Abochi, and Abochi says it's 15. You go to Abochi is offering you a better price. relative to the bank. Sometimes you go to the bank and there's no liquidity. Liquidity here would mean there is no dollar to even give you.
Right.
But Abochi has the dollar.
Yeah.
Abochi has the dollar, and Abochi has the better price. Where would you go to?
You, of course, you go to
So
Abochi.
the
But
point
Abochi is also hoarding.
Yeah.
Is that
So
not
the point to make is that they play some key role. And so maybe attention should be given. But I've always been wondering, maybe it's not something I intended to say on air because it has been a thought I've had for some time. Where does the Abochi get the dollar?
The dollar from?
It is something that has
I
been
think you
of
should find
interest
out and
to
come
me.
and tell us. You should do a research into that.
Oh, I know.
Just
I know where they get
you
it
see
from.
them. Oh, you know where they get it from.
But I can't put it out.
Okay.
But it's a question everybody
Right,
should be thinking
asking.
about.
Exactly.
Where does Abochi get the dollar from? Where foreign currency? Where does it come to?
Yeah.
So for me, it is just my thinking and what I believe may be the real answer to that question.
Right.
Because I think all foreign exchange, all foreign currencies will pass through our broader financial system, will pass through Bank of Ghana, the banks and all of that. I don't think foreign direct investments come through Abochi. I don't think foreign direct investment. I don't think so. And so they get it from somewhere. They get it from the formal sector. I mean, I must admit. And so we need to look at that.
Okay.
Because to manage the whole situation, that must be checked. That must be checked because that also play a key role.
Right. Okay. Because of time, maybe tomorrow we'll talk about what that means to the ordinary Ghanaian.
Every time we end because of time, I think we need some more time. Anyway.
We'll talk to our producer and see how it goes. Right. Yeah. But tomorrow we'll look into what Ghanaians or ordinary Ghanaians can do to protect their finances when the city is depreciating. I think it's something very good to look at. But do you think, and I'm asking this very question because of certain reasons, do you think Ghana can achieve long-term city stability?
Yes, if the right things are done.
What are the right things?
We've spoken about them. Check Abochi. Control inflation well. I mean, that's on the lighter note. I just wanted that reaction from you. And I'm sure anybody listening to will be laughing like you are doing. The two sides must agree. There must be a balance, a fair balance between government's effort to stabilize the city by way of policy, efficient spending, productive spending, reduce borrowing, debt levels. My brother, if we keep on borrowing in dollars, I've explained, it has its own way of weakening. I mean, your attraction for foreign currency in itself kills your currency. Right. 2, imports. So government intervention around these lines. The more do we import in city? Tell me, do we import in city?
No.
We import in dollars. And that is demand for dollar. It's an issue of demand and supply. Right. Once your demand for the foreign currency goes up relative to your currency, it weakens your currency. And so we need to check that in addition to control. So government in itself, I mean, the executive must work hard at city stability.
Okay.
And it must use all its policies and all the things it must do to achieve that. Then the monetary side, Bank of Ghana must also work hard at what, I mean, it has already been doing that, but want to see some more work there. So that there is a fair balance between the two. One should not be going in the northern direction while the other one is in the opposite direction. That creates some issue. And that issue is not difficult to describe because that is what we are going through. That is what we've been going through.
I see. Ima, thank you very much for joining me this morning for Market Trends. I think you've given us a lot of value, and we can't wait to go into tomorrow where we get to talk about what ordinary Ghanaians can do to protect their monies from...
Would you take my last words?
Okay, yeah, maybe you can.
Yeah, because my last words should be very powerful. I think that there was something that I had in mind. I'm sure you are aware of the issues happening between the United States, Canada, Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico and China.
Yeah, on the tariffs. And I think that it's something we must pay attention to. especially to our businessmen and all of that. These are on imports. Just by the way, tariffs increase the costs of goods and services. It's meant for some purposes. And then on the 1st of February, President Trump announced the imposition of new tariffs on imports from Canada, Mexico, and China, citing concerns over illegal immigration and drug trafficking, particularly, as the reasons or the basis for same. Now, the tariffs are supposed to take effect from tomorrow, the 4th. Yeah. And Canada and Mexico, 25%.
They've hit back, right?
Will be applied. Yeah, I've seen it. Will be applied to all imports with the exception of Canadian energy products, which will face a 10% tariff. So even that is not that there is no tariff. It's not 25, it's 10. And then for China, 10% tariff will be imposed on all their imports. And then, I've explained the rationale. They've invoked their International Emergency Economic Powers Act, declaring a national emergency due to the threats posed by illegal immigration and influx of drugs like fentanyl. So we've seen some responses from China, Canada. They are also they've announced a 25% tariffs on $155 billion worth of American goods. The Mexican president has condemned the U.S. tariffs and indicated that Mexico would also implement both tariff and non-tariff retaliatory measures, though specific details were not provided at the time. Now, why am I saying this? It's because of the potential economic impact. Economists warn,
even on Ghana,
yes, that these tariffs could lead to higher prices for American consumers, affecting a range of products from automobiles, electronic groceries, and all of that. The increased cost may continue to cause inflation and potentially slow economic growth. You and I sat here in the early stages of this year. We spoke about the World Economic Forum. We spoke about growing inflation. We spoke about economic growth and how it's going to cause global inflation to go up. It's going to cause global economic growth to slow down. And so if that happens, it's going to have an impact on us. And the way it's going to come, as time goes on, we are going to explain that. I wanted to touch on this. Everyone should be alert, follow that space, see what is happening. And then I think that
hopefully we get to also talk about that. We have a lot of things to talk about, actually.
Yeah,
so
we do.
We will probably, maybe in the coming days, we'll look at going to that. But Iman, thank you very much for coming. We're grateful. Well, you're still tuned into Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Nietzsche B. Hammond. Very soon, we're going to be giving you the opportunity on our market trend some of the time to
mean the producer.
Yes,
you mean Pascal?
Yes, Pascal.
So like he has to know that he's the one you are referring to.
Yeah, we tell Pascal to give us some more time so that we can dive into some other matters, and then also give our listeners an opportunity to call into the show or text into the show. Right, but this is still Business Breakfast on Z 101.9 FM. With me, Nietzsche B. Hammond. Very soon, we are going to get into our roundtable discussion. And today, I'm going to talk to an entrepreneur who is going to say, a lot of us have passions, but as to what we do with it is something that many of us haven't explored. And so it is very important that you stay for this conversation. We'll take a spot of music. When we return, she'll be in studio here, and we are talking how to turn your passion into profit. Stay tuned.
Zed 101.
Earlier this morning, we're talking to a very young lady who's an entrepreneur, and we're talking about how to turn your passion from passion to profit. Basically, what you love is a month of love, and because of that, we are trying to blend everything that we love. We're trying to blend relationship and all of that into business, and how these things can help you do something for yourself. And so, for this morning's conversation, we're going to talk about how you can turn your passion into profit. We're going to journey into the entrepreneur, the one I'm going to speak to this morning. We're going to journey into her beads business. She does beads. She uses it to make bags and all of that. Yes, and we're going to talk into the challenges, the triumphs, and some pivotal moments that shape their success story. And of course, she's also gearing up for Guinness World Records and an attempt at that. And we're also talking about that as well, just so that we can catch a glimpse of what she's doing to prepare and what that even means for every other person who is also into business. And so this morning, joining me in studio right now, she's already seated, is Juliana Gabin. And Juliana is a creative director of Jules Beads and Jules Raising Arts, where she transforms beads and raising into stunning fashion accessories and home decor. Yeah, she's a very creative person, and she started a business in 2021. She's going to tell us a whole lot about that. And she says that dedication to innovation and empowering local artisans is what continues to inspire her in the industry. This morning she's in studio. Julie, how are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing very well.
Is it fine if I call you Julie?
Oh yeah, sure. You can.
Okay, I was say Jules.
It works for me.
Any of them works, right? Okay, great. Let's get into the conversation right away.
Sure.
Yeah. What inspired you to turn your passion into a business?
Okay. So first of all, I think I would greet your listeners and also thank you for having me this morning. What actually inspired me was the feedback I was receiving from customers. The few people who actually purchased my product, the feedback was positive, and it encouraged me and inspired me to go on with this. Yeah.
Maybe just for starters, tell us about Jules Beads. Just a few minutes. Tell us about that. Then we can get into it.
Okay, so it's a brand that focuses on making bags.
Okay.
For now, bags only.
Bags only.
Yes.
Okay, with beads.
With beads, yes. We make bags with beads, and sometimes we try to incorporate other foreign materials. Actually, that's the goal. But at other times, some customers would want a bag made of only beads.
Only beads.
But with my idea, I would want to incorporate other foreign materials into the beads so that it wouldn't be 100% beads.
Right.
But then you will see a plexiglass in there, a plexiglass and a bead. You will see a wood and a bead. You will see a cane and a bead and other stuff.
Right. You have turned your passion. It started as a passion, and now you're making a lot of money from it, right? At what point did you realize that what you love doing could actually become profitable?
I think in 2021. Yes, when I started receiving those feedbacks, I noticed, so people actually love this thing, then let me focus on it and make money from there.
But how did you start?
Okay, so I started...
Tell us a story.
Sure. A friend made me start. So she told me she wanted a bag after I had already discussed with her that I knew how to make this product. And she told me she wanted a bag. But then I didn't want to do it because beading is very time consuming. And at that time, we were both working in the office. So combining the 5 to 8 and then beading, I thought it was going to be stressful for me. So I told her she should give me time. But then she waited and I wasn't forthcoming. Right. So she went to the market to buy some stuff. And then she bought the beads that I should make the bag for her. So it was like, at this time, you have the beads, you have the raw material, so just make the bag for me. So I did it. I did the design that she wanted. But then the size was big. She loves small bags, purses, and those stuff. So a colleague bought it.
Right.
Then she took her money. I took my workmanship from it. Then we decided to do another one for her. When we did it, another colleague at the office also saw it, and she was like, oh, she would want to have one. So I did one for her, and then after that, they started recommending me to their family and friends, and they also started placing their orders, and that's how it started.
I see. But were there moments, I mean, some defining moment that made you feel like, yes, I'm onto something very big?
Yeah, I think 2021, when the orders were
coming
overwhelming, I felt like, oh, I think I need to do this. I need to pay attention to this and do it very well. Yeah.
So how did you navigate the transition from doing it as a hobby to a full-fledged business?
It took time. It took quite some time because, as I mentioned, I used to work as a full-time, how do you call it, employee?
Yeah.
And, deciding to move from that full-time where, as for this place, no matter what, I will have my salary at the end of the month, and then venturing into something that you are not so sure. And look at something like a bag. People don't use bag almost every day. Even if I get one bag, I can use it the entire time.
Right.
So you are like, is this going to work? So it actually took me some time. I had to plan financially as well because, Charlie, if you don't plan and you come and it doesn't work, so I need to plan that too as well. And with time and a little progress, I got to know that, okay, I think this is the time I need to focus on making my business a full-time business, focus on expanding it and see how that also will take me. So I think in 2023, March, I resigned fully and started focusing on Jules Bees 24/7.
I see. Very interesting. So if somebody is listening to us, what you are saying is that they need to be sure that they are going to be able to make some money.
Be sure.
And then
be sure. And have some financial backing as well, because if you don't have anything to fall on and you leave the corporate to venture into whatever that you are doing and it doesn't go well, it will be very, very difficult for you to survive.
Now, what were some of the early challenges that you faced and how did you overcome them?
Okay, with the business, I think it had to do with sourcing raw materials. Because like I mentioned, I would want to make something unique. So not just the bees, but then incorporating other foreign materials. So this time, if I introduce a bag that's using, let's say, wood or canes. Now, the supplier who is supplying me with the cane structure can disappoint me the following month.
Right.
So if I have orders of that particular design, it means I would also have to disappoint my customers or probably fall on a different vendor or a supplier to work with. So the sourcing of the raw materials was actually a big challenge for me. And pricing as well. Pricing was also, I think somewhere in 2022 or 2023, we got up one morning and the prices of materials had increased. In fact, it had doubled. And I didn't know what to do at that point. Something that we're buying for, let's say, 20 cedis was like 40 cedis. Some were even selling it for 45 cedis. So pricing also was quite challenging at that time. Yeah.
Right. Did you ever feel like giving up?
Then when I had a full-time job, at some point I felt like maybe I should just focus on my job, and because this thing is fashion and it changes.
Right.
Yes. But now there's no going back. So no, I don't feel like giving up.
But how did you get over that thoughts? I mean, those thoughts of giving up?
I think it has to bear with knowing what you actually want to do.
Right.
And focus on it. Yeah.
So if somebody's listening to us and they have a passion they want to turn into a profit, they should focus. There will be times where they will feel like giving up.
Yes,
like
but
just like you.
Focus. You actually know what you want to achieve. You know the picture. You know your goals and everything. So just focus on your goals and set small targets for yourself. While you are achieving those little targets, you will see that one day you get up and you have already achieved the bigger target that you set for yourself.
Now, how do you stay motivated when passion alone isn't enough to push through tough times? How do you stay motivated?
For me, I think it's the new designs that I introduce. and the feedback I get from customers. So at some point, I made it a point that let us by every 2 months, I'll introduce a new design so that I don't feel like what I have isn't enough for a customer to choose from. Yes, so it's the new designs that most of the time I do introduce.
And that keeps you motivated
Yeah.
to continue to do what you're doing. Were there some skills that you had to learn in addition to your original passion? Because you had a passion for this beading, right? Were there some skills that you had to learn to be able to do what you're doing?
Yeah, I think last year I had to learn resin art.
Okay.
Because I noticed that you can actually, so I mentioned that I incorporate canes and other stuff.
Yeah.
So I noticed that I could actually infuse the resin art also into the bags. So last year I had to go in for that and learn. And currently it's like I'm doing lots of things with that as well. I can make wall frames, keychains, and other stuff.
So that means that the passion alone is not enough. If you want to do better,
you need to learn. You need to learn. You need to train yourself as well.
you need to train yourself and learn. Now, how do you differentiate between an interest, a fleeting interest, and actually a passion that is worth pursuing as a business? How do you differentiate between it? Because, you know, everybody can get something interested interested in something at a point in time in their life. How do you differentiate between this is something that I'm just enjoying for this time and this is something I could actually pursue? How do you tell the difference?
I think the difference will also be based on probably the feedback that you're receiving from those around you. Because if you are interested in the things, most of the time you could be interested, but even you yourself, you can't see it as something you can pursue to even get money from it. Yes. So if those around you also motivate you, you can also get the idea that even though it's an interest, I can pursue it further and make some money from it.
But do you have some other interests, you personally? Do you have some other interests that you think these ones are not for business, but the beading is what I want
everything, for me, everything is about business.
Everything's about business. So everything about you try to turn into business. What other things have you turned into business?
Acting. Actually, I'm a theater arts. I read theater arts in the uni.
Oh, really?
Yes, because
University
I
of
loved
Ghana,
it when I was a kid, so I decided to pursue it.
University of Ghana?
No.
Oh, okay.
University of Cape Coast.
Right. I also read theater arts.
Oh,
yes.
Fellow thespian.
Exactly, right? Reading all the Shakespeare and
that's it.
Oedipus Rex and those books and all.
So
of
when
that.
I know I'm interested in something, I would have to find ways and means of turning it into a business as well.
Well, it's we are just about 5 minutes to 9, and this morning we're having a conversation with Juliana Gabing. She's a creative director at Jeweled Beads. And this morning we're talking how you can turn what you love into a thriving business. A lot of us have passions, but as to whether we are able to make something out of it is something that many of us are not exploring. And so that is why this conversation is very important. You can join the conversation over our WhatsApp line. Send your text, send your questions, your thoughts to 0544 321019 0544 321019 0544 321019. We are actually also on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH. Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH. We are live on our YouTube platform at Z Multimedia. Z Multimedia. You can as well follow us on TikTok at Z Multimedia or visit www.zmultimedia.com. And you can share the link as well to other people so that they can get to hear something that will transform their lives. Now, let me come back to you, Julie. What strategies helped you to scale your business from the initial idea to where it is today?
I think I'll say social media, posting engaging content. And then also, like I mentioned earlier, the unique products that I introduced. Yes, those are the strategies that I used.
So you decided to introduce more new things,
more new stuff,
and that's helped you to scale your business.
Yes,
and I think you're learning the reason arts also played a role in there, right? Okay, now how important is personal? Because you mentioned social media. How important is personal branding when growing a business rooted in passion?
It's very, very important because most of the time people associate you with the brand. So the two go hand in hand. You have to also brand yourself very well. And as someone, for me, almost all the time, I'm one person who didn't like beaded bags at first. Yes, I didn't like it at all. I think it was because of the designs I used to see back then. I wouldn't say they were not so nice, but maybe they didn't appeal to my sense of fashion.
Right.
So I didn't like them. But then when I started, I noticed that no, because people are associating my brand with me, I need to use them. So now everywhere I go, whether I want it or not, I try my best to go with my brand. Yes. So you have to brand yourself very well so that the moment people will see you, they will know that, oh, this is the person behind this brand. Yeah.
Right. So that is also focused on what you're posting on social media.
What you're posting on social media, yes, what you're wearing and all of that.
Okay, still on social media, maybe you can go a bit more into details. What role does social media play in promoting a business?
It gives you visibility because if you are just located at, let me say, American House, and you're not on social media, it means only people who uses that stretch can see your product and purchase from you. But then when you're on social media, you get that visibility that you want. And not just people in your country, people outside your country can also purchase from you. So social media gives you the visibility if you're able to utilize it very well. It gives you the visibility that your brand will need to penetrate international markets as well.
Right. But do you manage your own social media, or you have people you've paid to be doing
For
that?
now, I am doing it.
You are doing it. So anybody that is listening to us this morning can start something and they manage their own business.
Oh, yes, you can. You can. When I started initially, so before I started, when my friend told me to start, I told her I don't know anyone in Accra who would want to buy from me. And my friend said, no, you can post them on social media. And at that time, my smartphone was faulty, so I was using a young phone. So when I make the bag, she will hold it, pose, and take nice pictures and help me post them on. She actually showed me how to post, especially on Instagram and then the reels. I owe her a lot, Mrs. Anite Uku.
Okay.
I owe her a lot. So she did a lot of stuff for me. I didn't know how to, because I didn't know I could actually leverage social media to get to where I am now. Yeah.
So maybe you're tuned in right now. There's a Mrs. Anita Uku in your life who will help you. Oh, is also telling you that do
everyone
needs
that Mrs. Anita Uku.
Telling you that started, do this business, you can turn it into something huge. So please look out for those people. They are the people you have to keep around you. And there's always somebody like that in your life.
Yes.
Now, how do you maintain quality as your business expands?
Okay, so maintaining quality, I think it has to do with where you're sourcing the materials from. You know, most of the time when people start, they do it very well. But at some point when they notice that they are getting their money, and then they start, reducing the quality and all of that. So you have to maintain it. If you're sourcing from this place and you know this is of high quality, and we know, we the biggest, when we are buying something and it's not of good quality, we know this is a no-no. So sometimes when a customer sends a design to me that's, can you make this for me? And I see the picture and I notice that if I use this kind of beads, the bag is going to fade. I tell the person, please, with this, the bag will fade in probably a period of 1 year or two. And a beaded bag shouldn't fade.
Oh, really?
So if you insist that you don't mind, then I go ahead and do it for you. If not, I wouldn't want to use it at all.
Right.
So it has to do with where you're sourcing the materials from. You have to stick to the quality that you introduce right from the onset.
I see. So how do you balance? I want you to tell me, how do you balance creativity? Because you are creative, you know the ideas, the things that you want to do and all of that. How do you balance creativity with the business side of things? So finance, marketing, operations, and all of that. How do you balance all of that?
I think it's an act. I think that too is an act. So even though you are creative, you're being creative about it, but you also have to know that this is what is bringing food on your table and this is what you're making money from. So you have to set aside, have a good plan, know which money is going into what. Plan very well, and you have to also prioritize and know that, no, for this funds that I am receiving, it's going into raw materials. This is my profits. This is, and you know, when we are pricing stuff, for me, I don't know for other bidders, for me, when I'm pricing stuff, I do that based on the time I'm also spending, and then my level of creativity on that product as well. So the customer is paying for that.
Right.
Yes. So you can't just price it that, oh, this is just a beaded bag. So no, some creative act has gone into it. So you have to factor that into the pricing as well. And when you get the money, you deduct it from it and put it somewhere. Yeah.
So did you have to take some courses in managing finance, social media management, marketing?
Honestly, before I didn't take any course. I think I learned on the job. But currently, I'm reading a course on that. So I'm at Accra Business School. I'm reading Communication and International Marketing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's the goal, is to incorporate that into your business.
Into my business.
And expand it.
As
we are learning international marketing, it means that you
want to
go
international.
That's very strategic. I like it. Now, but how do you stay ahead of the trends and maintain a competitive edge in your industry?
Okay, so I think for me, how I actually do that is the designs, like I said, the new designs I introduce. And most of the time, you see, customers would want to bring designs from other artists for you to do it. And it's between you and your vision, whether you would want to proceed or you still stick to whatever you want to do or you want to project as a brand. So most of the time, it's just the new designs that I introduce. Almost every time, I want to stay ahead. I want to be the one to bring new designs into the market so that others can be inspired by it. Yes.
I see. But what's your approach to handling customers' feedback, whether positive or negative? How do you handle that?
Oh, I try my best to handle it very well. Where I know I went wrong, I do my best to apologize. Feedbacks are very, very important. You cannot expand as a brand if you don't like feedbacks. So whether positive and negative, and most of the time I want the negatives because those are the feedbacks that will help me improve and be a better person, and then also help my brand to improve. So I would rather prefer the negative feedback to the positive. Because for the positive, oh, I like the bag and it's very nice. Okay, that's normal. I've been receiving it most of the time. But for the negative, once in a while, so it's that, oh, okay, so this thing, I should have done it this way or that way. Yeah.
Right. So you need to make sure that you're taking the feedback in good faith.
In good faith, yes, and you're working on it. And where you need to apologize to the customer, you have to.
And you said feedbacks are very, very important.
Very, very, very important. Because if a customer is not satisfied, the customer can let you lose about 20, 30 customers that you may not know. Because assuming the customer is in a very good organization, and let's say someone is just surfing the internet, the person comes across your page and the person, oh, Jules Bees. And that unsatisfied customer will just pass a comment, oh, don't mind that one. I bought a bag from her and it wasn't nice and I spoke to her and, you know, all sort of things. And that could deter the other person from buying from you. And you don't know the number of people that that person can also influence. Yeah.
And word of mouth travels.
It does.
So this will tell another person, one tells another, and then
before you realize your business is already down.
I see. So how do you manage the pressure? I know there's pressure to constantly innovate, and I know one thing that is constant in business is change.
Yeah.
Definitely, you need to be changing to the times and all of that. How do you manage the pressure to do that without losing the core essence of your brand?
How do I even manage the pressure? So I think most of the time I try to, you know, satisfy the customer and also stay ahead of whatever I would want to do. So even though the vision is to probably produce a new bag or a new design in a month or two, when I have overwhelming orders, I just call in people to assist, so that if I'm working on a new design that I have to introduce within few days, I can complete that. So I get people to assist me. Yeah.
And that's how you're able to do that.
That's how I'm able
because
to do
I
it.
know one thing, people will not like the same bags, all the time.
Oh,
they
yes.
want to be seeing some new things.
Some new
and so
things,
there's pressure on you, isn't it?
There is.
There's pressure.
And the interesting thing is, sometimes you may introduce a design today, and people will not start purchasing that design until after like 6, 7, 8 months. As I'm talking to you now, people, I think the orders I did most of last month were designs I made in 2021. You will not believe it, yes. So customers are unpredictable. So when the demands are coming and you also think you should introduce a new design, then you let someone assist with the other orders, then you focus on introducing the new designs. If not, you just focus on that, because after all, that is what the customers are purchasing at this point in time. So let me just focus on it and deliver.
And deliver. I see. But have you faced any major setback in the business, and how did you bounce back? Because I know that people go into business thinking, oh, this is going to be smooth. But then they get hit by something huge, and then they have to now bounce back. And usually it's difficult for them. Have you ever faced anything like that?
For this industry, no. I wouldn't want to say not yet, because I don't want to experience it. Because one thing about bags is, even if you make them in bulk and nobody purchases them, it is not a perishable good. You can keep it for as long as you want, no matter what people will purchase. So for this industry, no. No. I think the only setback, it is not even a setback, probably a challenge, is when I introduce this 50% payment before and after. You see, for those of us who sell online, sometimes the customer doesn't trust you. The customer thinks you can scam him or her. I also think you can scam me. Yes, so we both don't trust. So when we do the 50-50, sometimes you can deliver the bag and the customer will refuse to pay the balance. Oh yes, I've faced that a lot, even with guys.
That's interesting.
Like, oh, oh really? So at some point I had to let go. So yeah, that's the only challenge, but for now it's 100% payment, then you receive your bag. You don't trust me, I also don't trust you.
Right, but do you think that these challenges, these business setbacks are bound to happen in every business? And how would you advise somebody to be able to navigate those moments?
Oh yeah, they are bound to happen. Once you are selling online, they are about to happen. But I think it all has to do with trust and how you brand yourself. And once in a while, to try and then post the feedback that you receive from other customers, the positive ones. I think when the person sees it, the person will know that you're actually genuine. And I think for now, there are some checks that you can do on an account on social media to verify whether the account is genuine or not. So for a customer, if you are buying from someone online, I think you have to go through all these checks to see the comments from other people to verify the account before you proceed.
I see. So how do you decide when it's time to expand the business or when it's time to pivot?
How do you decide? I think it has to do with the timing. When you say that you are actually getting lots of engagement on your social media, for those of us who sell social media, when you say that, okay, I'm getting a lot of engagement this time, so this will actually be a good time for me to expand, a good time for me to introduce something new, a good time for me to go this way or that way. So you have to study the trend and then know whether I'm actually getting more engagement this time. And I think for now on social media, you can actually see the insights. You have an insight there. You will see how your reels and pictures and all of those things are performing on the platform. So you can use that to, determine whether it's a good time or not for you to expand. Yeah.
So is the business growing, your business? Is it growing? How do you determine if the business is growing apart from the financial bit of it? Because if the money is coming, it is growing.
It is growing.
Which other ways?
I think the feedback and then the following you have. The feedback and then the following you have.
You have like about 29K, 28K?
Yeah.
on social media.
Yes.
So that means that the business is growing. Where did you start from? Zero?
Zero.
You know there are people who buy their accounts.
Oh no, I didn't buy zero. I started from zero. And between 2021, I think I had more following in 2021 to 2022. I hit 10K. I was even surprised. It was just one reel. And that's how I posted. Yes. It was just one reel, and I had that engagement. So throughout that period, I was introducing more designs. I was posting more because I noticed that I was getting the engagement. So I capitalized on that to also gain the money as well. Yes. And between, I think, 2022, 2023, that period, even though I was getting the money, I wasn't getting following. In fact, I could wake up one morning and my followers had reduced instead of increasing. I was like, what is happening? But then I was getting the money and I was doing all that I could to ensure that I gained the following, but I wasn't gaining. So that was the period I also decided to utilize TikTok, because initially I wasn't on TikTok. I was just on Facebook and Instagram. So that was the period I had to switch to TikTok and see how the business will perform also over there. Then between 2023, 2024, it started picking up, and now we are at 29.
I see. So it's been how many years? 21 to
2025.
So basically
almost
4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Wow, and you're hitting over 29. I mean, almost 29K people followers. If that's just on Instagram.
My goal was to hit 30K before 31st December, but it didn't work.
Wow. So you actually even set targets for that?
So I set targets. And then I plan on what to post. If I'm doing reels this week, or I'm just doing pictures this week, or both. So I plan. And for social media, sometimes we get to know the songs that are trending. So when you get to know that a song is trending, just hop on it.
Right. So for somebody listening to us now, social media can be the game changer for them.
Oh, yes. It has worked for me. It can work for you too.
So reels,
pictures,
TikTok.
anything, stories, and sometimes you have to add a little bit of fooling, because you can't always be posting pictures and of your product, even though that's the idea. Sometimes people would want to see the person behind the brand. So sometimes you have to also post yourself holding the bag and all of that. It has not been easy, but we'll get there.
That's very interesting. So what can you do if you don't want to put yourself out there in the business? Because you talk about the human touch that people are looking for these days. So if I don't want to, maybe I don't like to be out there, what do I do?
Then you can get someone. You can pay someone. We have a lot of influencers, so you can get them to do it for you.
Okay. All right.
Because no matter what, there should be someone behind the brand.
I see. So what's the process? What's your process for setting and achieving the goals? Because you said you have targets and all of that. What's the process?
So I plan. I draw my targets. I have quarterly. So at the beginning of the year, we set the yearly. We break it down to bi-yearly and then quarterly. Then we come to weekly. So I know that this week I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Before the orders come in, you know what you're posting, you're going to post. So sometimes I can take pictures like today and post it like next month. Yes. I will not post the pictures. Sometimes the customer will even receive the bag, use it for some time before I post the picture of the bag, because I had planned. I know that I am posting this or that tomorrow. I am posting this next week. I'm doing a reel, or I'm not posting anything at all. Or this week, I'm just posting my story. It got to a time I also noticed that people were actually viewing my stories than the post itself. So I was just posting on my stories. On Instagram, it was just stories, yes. So you have to plan.
That means you have to monitor the...
Oh, you have to monitor. You have to monitor. If you really want to, if you don't have a physical, even if you have a physical shop, these days, it's all about social media. You have to monitor.
And how do you build a good relationship with your customers, your suppliers, or even those that are collaborating with you? How do you build a good relationship?
For customers,
not even just building, but also maintaining, because that's a difficult part.
For customers, I think it has to do with responding to whatever comments they post. And then once in a while, I send a blast. So I send them SMS for them to know that I am thinking about them, so they should also think about me and purchase my product. So once in a while I do that. For my suppliers, anytime I go to town, even if I don't go to town, once in a while I do check up on them for them to know that, hey, I'm still around. I've not forgotten about you. When I need you, I'll come and buy your product. So let me know when you have new stuff. Yeah. So I do check up on those people to maintain our relationship.
I see. But now, with what you're doing with the beats, I think it helps with the climate change. Is that something you're also paying attention to?
We have it in our plans, but
Right.
for now, no.
For now, no. Okay, that's great. Now let's talk a bit about let's talk about making impact even beyond business. All right. A lot of people get into business and their goal is simply to make money. But I believe that in today's world, it should go beyond just making money.
That's true.
All right. And so how do you ensure that your work stays meaningful beyond just making profits?
Okay, so before either before or in the process or at the time that my business started expanding, I targeted some people in the society that I could train so that I can also, if not work with them, others can work with them and then tap into their knowledge or whatever they possess. Yes. So I do train people, but I would want to train lots of people. But if I am training them for free, at least we should have someone paying for the bees as well. Yes. But that is what we are trying to work on at the moment. But once in a while, I do train some people so that at least they can also get something from me for free. And if I have more orders, if I'm overwhelmed with orders, these are the people I work with, and I pay them as well because they are spending their time on the work or the product or whatever they are doing, so they should get money from it, so that next time when you call them, it wouldn't be like, oh, I'm just going to waste my time. They will know that at least they're also going to get something from it to buy one or two things that they will need. So that's a little impact that we are also making.
So as you've identified your passion and you're using that to make some, you're making some money out of it, you should also be thinking about impact.
Impact, yes.
So how many people have you been able to train so far?
About 6 for free. Yes, for free, about 6.
Wow.
But those that have paid quite a lot, and some are even foreigners. Sometimes we do online. On
you
Zoom.
can train online as well?
Yes, for those who are outside. Page? I don't have, but if it's online, we do either Zoom, Teams, or sometimes WhatsApp.
Okay, so people can contact you and learn.
If you want to learn and you're not in Ghana.
Right. But do you think that's your most rewarding impact, on others, training the people?
Yes, because I think we all know that if you fish for a man, the person will get the fish that he or she is going to consume for that particular day. But then if you teach the person how to fish, then the person can just go to the sea and fish every time and every day. So I will teach you. I also show you where to get the raw materials in case. So most of the time, some of these people come back, oh, I've gotten an order. How much do you think I should charge? Then I will train the person on how to price the bag and all of that. So yeah,
wow,
it is.
I see. But have you had moments where your business positively changed someone's life? Like, the people you've trained, have they come back with some very positive feedback?
Oh yes, lots of them have started their own business. Yes, and they are also making good money.
But how does that make you feel?
Very, very good.
Are you sure?
Oh yes.
Because usually, people will not like to teach other people because
for them to make oh come on, I cannot make bags for not even everyone in Accra because the market is big, it's wide. So we should get that is why we do organized training. So if I'm training you and at the end of the day you cannot make a business out of it, then I've not made an impact. Yeah, so the excitement and the joy is when you are able. So even me, sometimes I get annoyed if I train you and you go and sit down and you do nothing. Like, so why did you come for the training if you're going to do nothing with it? I love it when people are able to come out, set up their own business, and sometimes these guys, I have lots of them. They do come back. I make the tags for them. I help them get their tags because they want to also brand their products very well. So I assist them with all of this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And when I have others overflowing, I push some to them as well because I know I train them, so I know they can do their work very well.
Wow. But personally, have you employed some people?
Oh yes.
But you started. But they're not, you started just yourself.
Yes, so but they are not permanent. I have about 3 who are on standby. So whenever it gets overwhelming, I just call on them. So I will deliver the materials to them through a dispatch, and when they are done, they also send it to me. Then I do the final touches and deliver to the customer.
So what do you have to tell somebody who is listening and the person is saying that I need people before I can start?
Oh no, you can. Once you can do it, unless you don't have the skill. If you don't have the skill, it is different. Because I know these days some people can open a salon, a barbering salon, but they are not barbers. So they do employ people. That is fine. If you don't have the skill, but once you have the skill, you can start on your own.
Once you have the skill, you can start on your own. Don't wait.
To just employ someone, yes.
Just start.
And whatever you have.
And this conversation is very important for somebody, specifically somebody, because if you follow the whole show, it's been about starting. And personally, I'm going to start very soon. Next month.
What are you starting?
I'm starting a fashion business, actually.
Oh, okay. Ladies or guys?
Oh, no, guys.
Both. Guys.
Maybe eventually we'll look at ladies, yeah. But I'm starting the fashion.
Add ladies so that I can come around and grab a
well, sure. I'll think. Well, you can buy for somebody. I mean, your boyfriend.
Pardon?
Okay, let's move on. All right. So, how do you define success? And do you think that it has evolved? The definition has evolved over time.
For me, my definition hasn't evolved over time. I don't know about others because success is relative. What I may define as success, you may not define as success. So for me, it is when I'm getting the engagement, when I actually hit my target. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
When I hit my target, either with finances, engagement, and then impact.
Wow. And what kind of legacy do you wish to create with your work?
Oh, so I want to be remembered as the only fashionable beaded brand globally and locally.
That's the kind of impact you want, legacy you want to leave.
Yes.
All right. Now, how do you balance the desire to make an impact with the realities of running the business sustainably?
I think it has to do with prioritizing. Like I mentioned before, balancing is an act. Even the Bible has said that a false balance is an abomination. Yes.
Right.
So you need to make an impact, and you also have to focus on satisfying your customers. But at that particular moment, which of them is more important? Is it satisfying the customer or making the impact? And when you plan, when you prioritize, it will help you plan, and then you'll be able to balance the two and know which one to do and at what point.
Now, how does your business reflect your personal values?
Okay, for me, I love simple stuff.
Right.
And I think someone says simplicity is elegance. I love simple stuff. So I think most of my bags, they're not too complicated. You don't see so much stuff going on. It's just simple, but it's elegant. It's simple but nice and of high quality. Those are the things that I love. So they do reflect on my product as well.
Permitting to take you back to the impact you're already making, do you think you want to expand to reaching more people?
Oh, yes.
And free training,
yes.
I mean.
Yes. I would want to. I would wish I could even get a big factory, get all these guys on board, all those who would want to learn, teach them for free, let them work and pay them. Yes. So I would love to. I would love to.
But are you aware there are some government fundings for businesses? Have you accessed any of them?
No, I haven't.
Okay, but you look forward to? Is that something? Because I know government seeks to expand, train more people in diverse. Yeah, I think this current administration wants to do something like that. They have a particular national apprenticeship program. You may want to check it out.
Okay.
Yes, and the focus is to get people to learn certain skills that they can start businesses with, and to maybe if you can look into that and
I'll
then
check
apply
that,
and
yeah.
then
Yeah.
maybe you can
Yeah.
train some more people
Yeah.
in line with that. Now, but let's talk about how you inspire your team or those around you to stay passionate about their work. How do you do that?
So I let them know the vision,
Mm.
our vision, and then what we want to give to customers. So as I'm giving you the materials to make the product, I let you know that this is what we've been delivering.
Mm.
And also, when you actually make the bag and it doesn't meet the standard I have set, it doesn't meet the standard that I have set or we have set, you will do it again.
Right.
So I'll let you start from scratch, or where I think you didn't work on very well, you'd have to remove everything and do it again. So with that in mind, they know they have to deliver. Yeah.
Right, and that keeps them
being creative and.
Now we're going to talk a bit about your Guinness World Record thing very soon. Yeah, we'll get into that very soon. But let's say there's somebody listening to us now and they are thinking that I have to go and get a business plan and all of that. Did you start with a business plan?
No, I didn't start with a business plan.
You didn't start with a business. So how did you start the business, and how is it going? Like,
I've already told you how I started.
Yeah.
It was a friend that motivated me
Yeah.
to start, and since then it's been learning on the job. I don't know, maybe after our attempt we will try and work on a business plan. Maybe, but for now we don't have a business plan.
For 4 years, if you're running a business without a business plan,
No.
you are making progress. What do you think is making you is giving you that progress? Is it the discipline,
focus, commitment?
Talk
Yeah.
a bit about them.
So
how they impact businesses.
Yeah. So if you're not committed to something, you see, for something like this, you have to be committed and be consistent. If you're not committed and consistent, so probably you make a bag today, and someone wants to purchase, you're like, oh, I'm not taking any order, and for a month or two, you're still not taking order. Maybe you're also not doing anything. You are just there. No, you have to be consistent. So you have to push the orders. You have to get people to actually order. So you engage them, you post stuff that will make them interested in placing an order, interested in getting your product and all of that. And you stay committed to the goal. If you're not committed and if you're not so focused, probably you're doing bags today, beaded bags today. Tomorrow you will see someone selling shoes, and the shoes, the person can tell you that, oh, Charlie, I'm selling shoes and I'm making money from it. Then you switch. It means you yourself, you've lost focus. You don't know what you want to do. So you have to stay focused to whatever that you want to do and stay committed and be consistent.
Stay focused, committed, and consistent. Well, it's 9:30, and this is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Trebi Hammond. And this morning, we're having a conversation with Turn Your Passion into Profit. And we're getting into the conversation. We've spoken extensively about that. When we return, we're going to take a short break, a music break. When we return, we will get into a world record, Guinness World Record attempt, and what that means for businesses and all of that. You may want to stay with us and then enjoy that. Please enjoy this music. We'll be right back.
Calling all lovers to feel the love this Valentine with Love A to Z on Zed FM.
We're bringing love to life in every way. Whether it's a grand, tune in to Love A to Z on ZFM 101.9.
From Wednesday, the 29th of January to Friday, February 14, you'll have the chance of winning amazing prizes from interactions on all our social media channels.
From BBZ to the brighter side with NYA the brand, and all the way to Highway 1019.
This Valentine, we'll make it every day a day to remember. Tune in, feel the love, and let us make your celebration unforgettable.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Well, welcome back to Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. Thank you very much for staying with us. This morning, we're having a conversation with Juliana Garbin. And Juliana Garbin is a creative director for Jude's Beats. Is it creative director? Yes. For Jude's Beats. And She is sharing with us how you can turn your passion into profit. She just loved beads. She just loved how to she just loved working with beads. And today she quit her job for that, and she's making a lot of money. In just 4 years, she has over 28 or 29,000 followers on just Instagram, and she built from the scratch, from 0 followers. She's telling us how she's done it over the period of time. And so far, we've spoken about what inspired her to turn her passion into business. She said she had just one person, Mrs. Ewuku, Angela. Is it Angela? Anita Ewuku, and that woman inspired her to just get started. And she's doing a lot of she's doing a lot of stuff today. You might have somebody like that in your life who is also encouraging you that go ahead, start that business, get things moving, and that person could be the one that will propel you to do better in life, financially, because of her business. And then she's speaking about giving up. She said that at a point she felt like giving up, but she kept moving, and today the results show for itself. She also talked about how she transitioned from quitting her job, and at what point she decided to quit finally because she felt like a lot of money was coming through. She also spoke about how her personal growth has influenced the growth of the business. She's been learning and training and making sure that she stays on the edge to be able to keep the business moving. And also she's speaking about how to differentiate between just your interest and your passion. If you just tuned in, you might want to go and check YouTube. The video will be there. Just go and play back. She shared a lot of value with us this morning, how you can differentiate between the fleeting interest and a passion that is actually worth pursuing as a business. She's also speaking about how you can manage the pressure to constantly innovate, and also how you can scale up your business. And she's got a lot of followers. When she started, she wasn't getting the numbers, but just one reel has gotten her a lot of followers. And she's also speaking about how to how finance, learning some finance, some marketing can help the business grow. And another thing she mentioned was also that she did it by herself. She started by herself. She didn't have anybody who was helping, but gradually she's been able to train people, even for free. She's been able to train a lot of people financially, both locally and globally, who are all into the business. And she's embarking on a Guinness World Record attempt, and that is the largest bead sculpture. Yeah, that category. Is it? Julie, let's talk about that a bit. But before that, you can join the conversation via WhatsApp, or you can as well call us and share your thoughts. Maybe you have a question to ask here, 56641. Or you can check us on social media. Drop a comment under our post on Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH. Instagram, Facebook, and FMGH. Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH. And we are live on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Our TikTok is also Z Multimedia. Any of these platforms, you can get into the conversation. Julie, let's get back into our conversation. Now, you decided to go into the Guinness World Records. Is the category something that was already existing? Largest bead sculpture. Is this?
So I applied for that. Initially, I applied to set a record for longest beading hours. Okay. So that it will be the ton.
All right. So what would have been the name? Beadathon.
Beadathon, yes. But it was declined.
Why?
It was rejected. And I am so happy it was rejected. The reason was that for something like bees, they would want a sculpture. So something tangible, something you can hold. Right. Even though the Beadathon, I was going to make lots of designs because that was my idea. I wanted to make lots of designs so that people would see how creative Africans are, especially Ghanaians. But since they rejected it and they proposed the sculpture, I had to, change my plan and look into it and see if that works for me. And it works. And in fact, I preferred that to my initial choice. So I'm glad they rejected that one. So with this, there is none.
I see.
So we are not going to break anyone's record. We are setting the record.
Amazing.
If after hours you want to make yours, then you have to rely on hours for the guidelines.
Right.
So the benchmark the Guinness World Record team has given us is 6-meter dimension. that means ours should surpass 6 meter. So we are looking at doing either 7 meter, or if we have much strength, we can go 7.5 meter dimension.
Right. We're going to talk a bit about how long you think that will take you to make. All right. But just what inspired the move, this bold move?
The desire to show an African artistry to the world, to be on a global stage. Yes. So it's not just about Ghana, it's about Africa. So we are going beyond Ghana.
So at what point do you think that, let me just go for this Guinness World Record thing? At what point?
Okay, so I think at a point after Hilda's own, because I didn't know much about it. Yes, Hilda Bassi's own. I didn't know much about it. Initially, I thought that for your name to appear in the Guinness Book of Records, you had to do something extra. So we will be there like footballers. So we'll be there and they will be like, Ronaldo is the first person to score about 1,500 goals. And Ronaldo didn't apply for anything, but it just happened. So then they recognize him. That was what I thought.
Right.
I didn't know you have to apply. So it was after Hilda's own that I got interested. I was like, okay, this could be a platform to actually promote African artistry. So let me go onto their page and read more. So I read more and I noticed, okay, there is nothing. I think the only thing I saw about bead was a beaded necklace, long beaded necklace, and kind of mosaic or something like that. So there was nothing like a sculpture or bags. So I applied, and because it's a new record, you actually have to pay. So
you have to pay?
Yes. So I pay, but it's not much. I pay $5. I paid $5 for that, and the approval for that was received in November 2023. So 2024, we used the whole year to plan, know how to go about it. In 2024, we did a prototype because per our rules, we are supposed to send the design to them for an approval as well. So we did a prototype, and that informed us of the number of packs of beads that we will need for the actual project, and also the hours we should be looking at.
Okay. So what has the preparation been like, and what are some of the lessons you've learned from it?
For the preparations, it's been a roller coaster. And I've learned that people can be excited about something but may not be ready to give, either in cash or in kind, to support whatever that. Because when I mentioned, I remember, so I started actually telling some of my family and friends in December 2023 when I noticed that, okay, I'm going to do this. And the feedback was overwhelming. Like, lots of people, I'm in. When the time is up, let me know. But now the time is up, and they're not seeing anything. Some of them, yes, they have fulfilled their promise, but others, we're not seeing anything. So lots of people can be excited about an idea, about a project, about a business, but then when it's time for them to come forth and then deliver, they pull back. That's one thing that I have learned from this, particularly from this project. Yes.
So do you regret wanting to go for that?
Regret? No, we are not getting started.
But people have encouraged you, and they've sort of left you along there.
I'm hopeful. I don't regret at all. We are doing this. We are doing this in March. Once I have gotten a venue, Ocean Green Beach at Pram has sponsored. They've taken care of our accommodation. So we are looking at 10 days, and we are going to stay there for 10 days for free. That should tell you that, Charlie, it is doable. It is doable. So if I've gotten a venue and accommodation for my bidders and other crew members, there's no backing out. Right. We are all in.
Right. What date are we looking at?
1st to 10th March.
Oh, okay.
So barely a month away.
A month away. Right. Well, you do fine. Don't worry.
We are fine.
What mindset shift did you have to make to actually pursue something as ambitious as a Guinness World Record? Guinness World
I think the desire to penetrate the international market, even though some few people from the diaspora, they know my products. People from, I think, few from US, UK, they've been buying from me. They know my product, but then we want to go global. So I was like, okay, this will be a big opportunity for not just my brand, but bidders as well.
Right.
Because if probably I'm getting lots of orders and it's something I don't have the labor force or the people to help, I could push some to other brands that I think are doing very well. So it is not just for my brand, but all bidders. Everyone who is in the bid industry.
Right. We want to put them on a global
We are putting
market.
ourselves there.
Now, how do you handle the pressure and expectations? I know a lot of pressure is on you right now, trying to put things together and expectations from other people and all of that. How do you handle that? Those expectations, I mean, that come with in this setting this huge goal.
Yeah, so I've actually learned to, be let people know what goes into it, because once you put, especially I remember the Tuesday that we released our first flyer, I had a lot of calls, lots of messages, and a whole lot. People would want to find out. So I do my best to let people know what goes into it, and the fact that I am not going to do it alone.
Right.
I'm doing it with other bidders. We are 10.
Oh, okay.
We are 10, so it's not something that I am
You are
going to do it. So
alone.
I think for now, what I am handling is probably the other aspect of it until we begin.
Okay.
Yes. So there's not so much pressure on me for now. Yes.
So you decided to put your foot forward, and then you called other bidders.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are they people that you trained?
Yes. Some are people that I have trained. Some are friends, bidders that I know. I told you it's not just about Ghana; it's about Africa.
Right.
Yes. So I have some of my team members from Uganda, some from Cote d'Ivoire.
Wow.
I'm looking at getting a Nigerian on board.
Right.
We've started a conversation around it, but it's not yet confirmed. Once it's confirmed, we will let the public know. So it's not just about Ghana, even though most of us are Ghanaians, and they are people I have trained.
Wow, that's good. But do you think taking such a bold risk is important or is essential for business growth?
Oh yes, deciding to even stay alive today is a risk. Yes, life is all about risk.
Right.
And I think it's very, very essential. What if it doesn't go well? I tell that person, it will go well.
Okay.
Because I mentioned earlier that this is a sculpture. It is not a marathon attempt.
Right.
For the marathon, you are limited with the time of rest. I think every 1 hour you have 5 minutes of rest. For this, we can even decide that, okay, throughout the 10 days, we will sleep for 9 days and work for 24 hours continuous. That is probably our strategy. However we want to go about it. All the Guinness World Record team is looking out for is a video as a proof that we started making this from start to finish. Yeah, so however we would want to do it depends on us. We can decide to rest for 12 hours, work for 12 hours. We can decide to rest for 16 hours and work for probably just 4 hours. We just need to ensure that we deliver. And we have proof that we actually did it from start to finish.
Right.
So we will achieve it.
You will achieve it, yes. I wish you well. I hope that you will.
Thank you.
And I know you will. Yeah, but what messages are you hoping to send to other entrepreneurs through this achievement?
I think they should take risks. Yes, even though it's difficult at some point, but then sometimes learn to take a risk. When you see an opportunity, hop onto it. Take risk, hop onto any opportunity that may come your way, and you may not know how it will turn out. It can be good, it can be bad. When it's good for you, it can push your business. When it's bad, it's also good for you because you will learn from it. The experiences are also very, very good. So you will learn from it and know that, okay, this is bad. Maybe it's because I did it this way or that way. Let me re-strategize and do it in the proper way. So in any case, take risk.
Wow. In any case, take risk. We're trying to wrap up. We have just about 5 minutes to go.
Okay.
Yes. 10 o'clock came actually. Yeah, we have just about 5 minutes. No, to wrap up, and then I give my final closing closing remarks, then we can go off. But now let's talk a bit about. So I wish you well in your Guinness Book of Records attempts. Do you have a call to some supporters or something?
Yes.
I take your final thoughts.
We need sponsorship. And before that, let me thank our sponsors so far. So we have Ocean Green Beach, the accommodation. We have Express Medical Health. They are going to ensure that we have some medical professionals on board. We have Maroni. Maroni made our T-shirts for us. And then we have 1429 Foods and Events. They are also supporting us with breakfast. Yes, and all individuals who have supported us so far. But then we need financial assistance. We really, really, really need financial assistance. Yes, so if you're out there and you think you can support us, and the vendors too, if you would want to be on board and then probably sell a thing or two during the attempt, please contact us.
Okay, all right. So contact them. You put out your social media details later. It's Jules Bees on Instagram, isn't it?
Yes, Jules_beat.
Okay.
And Jules Bees on
so
Facebook.
You can reach out to them and support them. Okay, so let me just take these final questions, and then what advice would you give to someone who feels passionate about something and they want to turn it into a business?
Just start. I think you should just start. If you're passionate about it and you want to turn it into business, just start, regardless of the resources that you may have at that point. Start with whatever that you have. Just start, but don't be in a rush. Probably you are in a full-time job and then you're also passionate about that thing. Don't be in a rush to leave your full-time job. Just take your time, start, do both, and then at some point when you feel like, okay, I think this is the time, I think you yourself, you will know that at this point, I think I can leave my corporate and focus on my personal work. Yeah.
And what's one common myth about entrepreneurship you would like to debunk?
A myth that we are so rich.
Well, entrepreneurs are not
Please, we are, but not so like you just projected me right there. When I leave here, someone would send me a DM. They are rich, but yeah. And I think of late, what I have been seeing on social media is when someone posts or probably comments about how he or she started, like probably I started with 5 Ghana cedis. Probably the person has a bank and the person says, oh, with my bank, I started with 5 Ghana cedis. Oh, you are lying and all. It could be true. Are you the person? You're not the person. The person is not you. The person is saying he or she started with 5 Ghana cedis. In my case, I didn't even start with my own money. It was Anita who bought the raw materials with her own money.
Wow.
Then I made it, sold it to another friend. We took our money to buy another raw material. Then I took my profit. So I didn't even start with my own money. But I think tomorrow when, we become the global brand that we seek to become, and we tell people that we didn't start with our own money, they will doubt. But you're not me. Yes. So that's one myth.
So people should start small.
Start small, yes. Start with whatever you have.
Start with whatever.
Don't wait to get it all. In fact, you can't get it all. Start with whatever that you have.
Start with whatever you have. You can't get it all. So that's how we wrap up our conversation with you this morning. Okay. Juliana, thank you very much. Any final words in 1 minute?
Okay, I think my final words will be to say a very big thank you to my family and my friends and everyone out there who has supported us as we started our journey to make the world's largest bead sculpture. We thank you so much. We've been seeing all that you've been doing, those sharing our posts here and there. Please, thank you so much. We don't take it for granted at all.
Juliana, thank you. Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much for coming. It's been a great interview. I think this is one of the best interviews I've had.
I just want to flatter me.
No. Not at all. I've enjoyed the conversation.
Me too.
Yes, I believe that our listeners have also enjoyed it as much. So thank you very much for
You're
coming.
welcome. Thank you.
All
for
right,
having
so
me.
that's how we wrap up today's conversation here on Business Breakfast on Zed. You've got a passion. Turn it into profit. Where we've gotten today in today's fast-paced world, we have to